You guys had spent some time talking with Castino at his casino. It was there that you had discussed, I want to say it was like three major topics. So you talked to him about his brother. That was like the biggest point of information. You learned a little bit more about his family, and you learned that Kane, his brother, was a fairly odd and disturbed young child. As far as Castino is concerned, um, you learned that his family is made up of treasure hunters. That they own various they own various businesses, but they're sort of like heirloom and relic collectors. That's their whole deal. Um, you also talked to him a little bit about Miska. I know that you guys had asked him about him. Gained a little bit of insight about how after after the alliance that Miska and Lord Neverember was a part of the Stalwart Six. Um, that Miska was claimed to have gone a little mad, if you will. Um, you guys also asked about the ring and the mage that is in question, the potentially two mages um, that you are looking into, the one who stole the ring and the one that might have something to do with Zash's brother, which he said that he really was not in any amount of. He didn't really have a ton of knowledge about it. Um, and so you guys decided you wanted to try and get a hold of Kane. And Castino told you that he really didn't have a reliable means by which to get a hold of Kane or to meet up with him because they've been fairly estranged for a while. That it is actually very hard to go to Kane unless somebody takes you to him, or unless he comes looking for you. He did suggest that there was a guy that he had talked to named Cedric, who was in Neverwinter at some point, who had been working for him, doing some jobs. And through the conversation, you also learned a little bit more about the mask, the Moonstone mask, how it sort of operates, the fact that magic items can go in there, but they're fairly easily detected and sort of monitored by those that work there through their masks. Why it's called the Moonstone mask. But what information you guys were able to, the biggest piece or the biggest lead you guys were able to get was Castino told you about an old flame of Kane's past. Actually, it was Castino's ex-girlfriend, a woman named Darlene, that Kane had a thing for. That the sort of the three of them had grown up together, and with a loaned hat of disguise, Albina was able to transform herself into Darlene, and you guys were able to cast Sending. I believe it was Sending. Um, yeah, was that what it was? Yeah, Sending.
Yeah, it was sending.
Yeah, you were able to cast Sending in order to reach out to Kane because you had interacted with him a little bit, so you had that connection. So with that, you were able to set up a meeting at an old pond, like a small glade, where Darlene and Kane had sat and talked for a while, back in their past. And with that, you guys headed out there. You had set up this kind of like a little area where Nylor had transformed into a fish and was swimming around the pond. Albina, disguised as Darlene, was sitting at the rock, and that is whenever Kane showed up, and he had walked around and had held out a flower to her and said, this is your favorite area, that he had picked Darlene's favorite flower, When Albina took it and said thank you, that is when he leaned in and said that her favorite flower was I believe I said a white rose.
Posy.
That's right, a posy. You're right. Um, and that he said it was almost perfect. And that's kind of where shit sort of went haywire because you saw Kane's staff light up. Nylor had jumped up out of the water to try and cast Hold Person, I believe. But
Yep.
But that had failed, and then it was at that point that Zash had used that newfound ability of his to shadow step into the shadow on the other side of the rock. And so that's sort of where we're gonna pick up.
Can
Nyla,
I?
yeah.
Oh. I don't know if I can do this. I was gonna say, as he tells her about the poses, can I cast my spirit guardians?
I'm gonna say that I'm gonna say that I want to I want to see what Zash is gonna do because like I know the very last thing that had happened was that he teleported.
Oh, okay.
If that is what you're going to want to do, that's not a problem. I just want to know what was Zash? What was your plan when you jumped over there?
I was gonna just kind of come out around and charge him and just try to talk to him and be like, you're kind of outnumbered right now. Do you really want to do this?
Okay. All right. Yeah. So we'll say that you step around Zash, and
real quick,
yes.
I cannot get D&D Beyond to load.
Oh.
I don't know if anybody else is having that issue, but if somebody can like screenshot my page and just send it to me.
Yeah, here, I'll put it in, I'll have it in a separate window and I will screen grab it for you.
All right, thank you.
There you go. Does that work?
One sec.
That's a little bit easier. If not, I can definitely screenshot it for you.
I'll just send it to myself. It's okay.
Okay.
All right, I'm good.
Cool. Right. So yeah, when you walk around, you can see Albina beginning to cast this spell. And Albina, as you do, you see the staff of Castino glow once again. And you realize that as soon as you cast this, nothing comes out.
Didn't you say that last? Didn't you say last time we saw, or at least I saw his ring glow?
You did.
Okay.
So his cane at this, or yeah, his cane, his staff, is emitting like this like pale bluish green light. And as Zash, as you step around the corner, what did you say? You said that you were.
I'm just gonna look at him and go, Kane, we have more people hiding. You're completely outnumbered. Are you sure this is the route you want to go? We just want to talk.
He sort of looks around. He turns around, turning his back completely on Albina and Nylor. Smith, Seftis, and Iluna, have you descended from the tree that you guys were hiding up in?
Not yet. No, I haven't at least.
Okay.
Nope, me neither.
Okay.
And I can't blind him while he turned around. Just
I mean, you can definitely try.
okay. Oh, maybe I shouldn't waste my. Well, you know what, you guys? I feel like I don't know. No, I'll just wait.
Okay. Iluna, have you jumped out of the tree yet? Your mic is muted, by the way. There you go.
Okay. I forgot I did that earlier. No, I'm staying in the tree.
Okay.
Well, I tried asking earlier if we all saw his staff glow.
Yeah, from where he's standing, because he sort of has it in, he has it in his hand. You could see that when, Nylor could see that his ring glowed whenever he cast Hold Person. But when Albina went to cast this, he really didn't move. Like when he, basically he turned towards Nylor and sort of pushed his hand in that direction, and you saw the ring glow. This one seemed almost passive, where the moment she went to cast this, you saw this orb around, or you saw this orb on the top of his cane glow, and
You know, we would have seen that spell's got like some kind of hand gestures or
I
whatever.
mean, Spirit Guardians does have a somatic component, so you would have seen her hands moving. Probably might not be able to advertise 100% the specific spell she was casting, so you just probably know that she was casting a spell.
That's enough.
Yeah.
That's why we would notice that it glowed because she was casting a spell, not that it glowed because, for fun on his end. I will say she does cast that one a lot. We might start recognizing it after a while.
So Kane turns around. He has his back completely to Nylor and Albina, and he looks at you, Zash, and he says, "Yes, 3 against 1. It seems like you have the clear advantage." No,
it's a little bit more than 3.
No, is it? How many do you have around here?
That's for me to know and you to find out if you choose that path.
Can Albina do her channel divinity guided strike and unarmed strike his neck?
Oh my god!
To try to knock him over.
I mean, you
so
can.
We can tie him up.
You can.
Okay.
There's nothing that is stopping you.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna do that, and it's gonna add 10 to it, so that makes it a 29.
Okay.
And I guess that wasn't very much damage there.
No, you basically are like a
Vulcan, hit his
a Vulcan neck grip into
my pinky breaks. Ah!
Actually, what happens is from this, I'm just gonna from this direction on the map, you see as you go to do this, the moment your hand makes contact with his neck, I need to rule something. So that's...
Oh, no.
No, it's not. That's... Yeah, I know it looks really bad. It is bad, but it's not that bad.
A
not
casual
that
44.
bad.
Thank you for the clarification.
Out of 300.
So... So Albina, as you do this, you call on you summon up the power of Tempest, and you get one good jab into his neck. The moment your hand makes contact, 3 arrows hit the ground right at your feet, and as you look down at them, one shoots straight into your hand. You are going to take... you're going to take 7 points of damage.
Oh,
Okay.
that would have
And
got the rescue that
I
I already
also-
cast.
And I also need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
You're gonna be. Would we have seen these arrows?
You guys saw basically like the glint of the metal of the arrows as it streaked through the air, like about halfway over the pond. The ones hitting the ground. I mean, you gotta remember. Kane is a very wide man. Albina is not completely hidden behind him. Like, it's not impossible to see parts of her, but she is a lot smaller. So you guys can't exactly see everything that happened.
And she's Darlene.
Plus, she's also Darlene, so a little bit smaller form. But as soon as this happens,
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
I also need you to take 25 points of poison damage as you feel a biting sting in your hand as poison begins to flow into you.
Because I had readied rescue if she looked like she was in trouble.
He
Right.
did do that.
Right. I will say...
So when...
I will say at this point you could try and cast rescue, or at this point you could cast rescue if you wanted to pull her out of there.
It was a triggered thing, isn't
Right.
that how
The
it
trigger was that she's in danger. She was just shot. She seems like she's in danger. I mean, there was no way for you to anticipate what she was going to do, what the repercussions of her actions were, for you to say, I pull her out before she gets shot.
I brought it on myself. I wanted to knock him out.
So at this point, I will give you... At this point, I will let the action happen based off the trigger that she seems as if she is in danger, so you may pull her back if you want to.
Do we see these archers?
You do not.
Do I have an idea where they're shooting from?
The most that you know is that they are in this general direction. Like, basically the arrows, the arrows were like going this way across the pond.
Do I have a good enough idea that a fireball would hit them?
Potentially.
They just came from that direction?
Yeah. I would say that you know the range of your fire, like you know the radius of your fireball. Like if you get close enough, you might be able to scorch them. You know, there is always a chance that they could, you know, that they were further back or you know, slightly a little bit more skewed. But you have a good in this, you know, in these brief moments, you think you might, you know, be able to get it. But Iluna, are you casting rescue?
Presume she looked like she was in trouble. It was kind of
also before if she does rescue me, I wanted to grab one of those other arrows and try to stab his leg with it.
Well, I'm gonna say if she is casting rescue on you, you are not gonna have the time to make that action because she's casting this as a reaction, basically.
Gotcha.
I had an question because some reason I didn't know. Well, I don't know. It's been a while since I looked up. I have 2. Can I only cast rescue one time?
Per action, yes.
Because I've got it. No, I mean I've got it as a 2nd level spell, so I could cast it a second time.
Well, that just means that just means that you could cast it using a higher level spell slot. It doesn't gain any benefits.
Oh, I can cast rescue more than once. I thought I could only cast it one time for some reason.
No, yeah, it's just a spell that you have.
I don't know.
You can cast first level spells with second level spell slots. It's just some spells don't scale with the higher level spells. Being that rescue scales
Yeah,
with your level,
just
then that's where the limitation
okay.
is.
It doesn't get better as a second level spell.
No,
That's kind of like
it's already at
if
90
I
feet.
used up my first level
Nope.
spell slots and I really needed to rescue someone.
Nope. So
it
are you
counts
casting
as second.
are you casting rescue on her?
Yeah, I
Okay.
already clicked it.
Okay.
You just
So
see me fumbling trying to reach for arrows. I can't.
yeah, you see a magical tendril reach out, and it pulls Albina back. Now the thing is that you're up in the tree. You would the change of elevation is not an issue, but you're basically pulling her, right to the base of the tree to where you are.
Yeah, isn't it
So
supposed to be like within 5
it's
feet
within
or
an
something?
adjacent square, yes. So you cast this. Kane looks at Albina, being pulled off in that direction, and he looks over at you, Zash, and he says, "We had the chance to talk. I mean,
Zash is gonna scratch his head and go, "Yeah, I'm not really sure why she tried to Jackie Chan you there, honestly. But yeah, I'm down to talk to."
Yeah, and he sort of looks at you. He looks at Albina, who's like over against this tree, crossbow bolt stuck out of her hand,
Snapping it out.
Yeah, and he says he looks over there and he glances up at the tree, and say, yeah, never mind. No, I'm gonna say that the sun is sort of obscuring his vision of the tree, where the three of you are still up there. But he goes, "So you positioned your others on the farthest side from town. I give you credit for the ingenuity."
Can you repeat that? You kind of broke up.
He
Sorry.
says you positioned your hidden comrades on the farthest side from the city. I give you credit for your ingenuity. And then he sort of turns around and looks at Nylor, and he says, "I'm having a druid here to keep an eye on it. I didn't expect that one."
Yeah, I mean, he came up with that one on his own. It's pretty good.
He turns around and he gives you a nod, Nylor. He says, that was clever. I'll have to remember that for the future."
Hey, don't go using our strats.
Well, hey.
Those are trademarked.
And you know what? I've written some of the best books on every art. But we'll save those times for when he glances over. The holy warrior isn't trying to smite me.
Clarify.
I'll put my hands up and I'll go and sit down on the rock and say, I really don't want to fight. I'd much rather just talk.
And he's sort of standing there, and he's like he sort of like steps over here, and he says, "Honestly, I came out here with the truest hopes."
But you brought backup as
arrows. Oh yeah, here. He says, "I came out here with my truest hopes that Darlene would actually come back. I guess, assumptions and all. But I assumed, well, I had faith that somebody was trying to pull something."
Can I still hear him, or can I not hear him from that distance?
I'll say that he's not talking quietly, like he's not whispering, but he's also not shouting. So you can definitely hear that he's talking to them. You might not be able to make out every word. And he he sort of looks at those of you that are in sight, and he says, "I must say it was quite smart of you to reach out to my brother. I assume that's where you got the idea, and honestly, I was not expecting to run into his little cohorts this soon after seeing you but a few days ago.
Yeah, I mean,
Can't say I'm in the best spirits, but try to keep a level head.
To be fair, we brainstormed several ideas to try to get you to come talk, and your brother said that, all of our other methods would not work, so...
And his methods were...
Oh no, our methods, not his.
Your methods...
We were coming up with, to talk, we're trying to, figure some stuff out about the ring and the people involved, and we kind of figured if anybody had any information on it so far, it would be you.
That is a good thought. I mean, it seems you've been hot on the trail the past 2 days, as seemingly most things have started to run afoul, but why did you not go and talk to your little dwarven betrayer?
Dwarven betrayer?
He says, the one who came to talk to me, so that he could get everything organized.
No. JJ was trying to figure out who he was talking about.
Oh yeah.
Am I missing? Did I miss him say
Thunsorn. He's referring to Thunsorn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we did. And he told us, all he had to know, and he didn't know who the mage was.
Did you find that out yet?
I don't know, this is an assumption, but if I had to guess, family isn't a very big thing for you. But it is for me.
Yeah, family's
and this
important to me.
guy murdered my brother and then stole his body. I don't care about your family ring. If I can get it back, I'll get it back for you and your brother. But ultimately, all I care about is my brother's body.
He sort of looks out at the water, and he says, "You definitely have talked to my brother. I care very much for my family. My brother, he runs a very successful casino. Now, tell me, what happens at casinos? Lots of money is exchanged, and some people might try to steal that. I have put forth my efforts over the years to keep my brother's casino off the table from those that would seek to cause his ruin. I send regular payments out to my mother and father, who wish not a word to see of me. Because they do not see the world as I do. They see it as glitz and glamour and treasures and baubles that will be found, and I see the truth of the matter, that the world operates as a business. You have buyers, sellers, and manufacturers. That's where I come in. You see, the way I look at it, if a man buys a knife to kill his cheating wife, who gets thrown in jail? The man? Or the shopkeep that he bought the knife off? Or the blacksmith who forged the knife? Or the woman who, granted, is dead, but for cheating on her husband. I am the blacksmith in that equation, hammering away day after day to allow people to do the things that they need to do. The repercussions of those I have some influence in, but oftentimes I care not for the results so long as I get my payment. You want the man who has your brother's body. I want the ring that rightfully belongs to me. And in that effort, we have mutual goals.
I think we do. Now, again, don't really know your family situation. I've only heard one side, and I don't really care to get involved. But I hope we can work something out if you have any information.
I can give you the name and the location of the man that killed your brother. And with that, you would be tasked with recovering my ring.
That's all you want? Just the ring?
That is all I care for.
And what if we're unable to recover it?
Then it seems like the tables would be imbalanced in that moment, and you might owe me a favor down the line.
I personally would like to accept, but there's more than just me in this equation. So, is there somewhere we can meet at a later time and give you our answer?
I think if you wish to discuss it, I don't see why right now is not a wonderful time. And he sort of looks out over the pond and over the water, and he says, it is such a nice day out. I think we could have a good conversation right here."
Call your men in and I'll call mine in.
And he looks over at you, and he nods, and he goes, he gives a short little shrill whistle, and you see on the far side, from the direction that the arrow or that the bolts came from, two dark clad figures, each with a crossbow in their hands, jumping down light as a feather out of the trees and standing on the other side of this pond.
All right.
What?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, did you say their race? If we can see that, I was just curious.
You cannot. They're wearing full covering. They're humanoid.
Fair enough. That's all I wanted to know.
So do you call over to your friends?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
All of those who will come.
Now, oh, I wanted to ask earlier, does anime sense anything like that anti-magic, which was really disturbing to her before?
I will.
I don't want to put her in danger, and definitely don't trust this guy that much.
I will say that from the being that when she got that feeling from the ring, she was nearly exposed to it. From this distance, she does not know because she doesn't have like an ability, like she doesn't have detect magic or anything like that.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Anime can stay in the tree.
I'll move closer to Zash.
And yeah, Iluna will come out of the tree. Just Anime can stay in.
Okay. Albina, Smith, and Seftus.
I'll climb down.
Actually move.
Yeah, I'll come down.
I'll stand up and
Walk back over.
At this point, I have like the broken half, and I'm like pulling out the other.
Yeah,
bit of the air, and I have a smirk on my face. That's all.
Kane looks over at you.
For unrelated reasons, Iluna would stand near Seftus. She knows why.
Okay.
Well, the rest of the party doesn't know why.
Yeah. So as you're walking up, Albina, Kane looks over at one of the dark-clad figures on the other side, and he gives like a little nod, and you see that one of them pulls something out of his pocket, and he throws it towards Kane, and Kane looks over at you, and he says, "It takes someone with a special kind of conviction to attack someone twice their size, but I respect that." And he throws you a little bottle, and he says, "It'll take the sting out of that wound."
And as I catch it, I just take off the hat, and I'm just like, thanks. And I start applying it.
All right. You regain 5 hit points as the salve is. Or I'm sorry, you don't regain 5 hit points. Sorry, you're still at where you are. You gain 5 temporary hit points because it's basically like a numbing agent that sort of takes away the sting of the poison. Because you're not poisoned, you just took poison damage.
Sure. So I'm sorry, 5 temporary damage.
Yeah, 5 temporary hit points. Yep.
So I hit. Wait, I'm confused. I put 5 in my temp.
Yes,
that's all. Okay,
you're good. Yep. So as you're all climbing out of the tree, Kane's sort of looking over all of you, and he goes, "All right, so it was all of you that were up at his casino the other night. I figured you were all around here. I was not expecting you all huddled up in the tree, but I will say, again, position of the sun obscuring my vision there, quite smart. Now, if you would mind discussing what it is my offer is to your companions."
Has everybody been able to hear our conversation?
Not the details. They heard that you were talking to him, but they were far enough away that like the specific details. And we can just say that you relay that offer.
Right.
So, just as a recap, the offer is he will tell you the location and the identity of the one who killed Zash's brother and took his body, and in return, you will retrieve the ring that was stolen and return it to him.
How much time do we have? Is there a time limit?
I don't think so. I think
what are the
my
other guy
only.
Sorry, what was that, Smith?
What did the other guy promise us? It was a Constantino?
Oh, yeah.
Is that his name?
Castantino.
I don't remember what. Did we cut a deal with him?
Map.
We sort of did. Yeah, there was a map.
Oh, that's right.
Wait,
the map.
wait, what was the deal? I'm sorry.
It was also in agreement that he would pay in part for us to go to the Moonstone Mass, but I thought we decided to go Moonstone Mask under our own money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
it.
he told us about a map, and we didn't really make a deal in the end because part of it was paying our way to the mask.
Basically, Castino's offer is that he has a mask that will lead you to an item kind of similar to his pendant of dispelling.
The necklace.
Yeah, to his nullification pendant. And on top of that, he'd basically pay some of your way into the mask if you all wanted to go in there. Kane's offer is he'll tell you where the body is, he just wants the ring. Because Castino also wants the ring.
I just kind of get up and walk over to him. I just look him in his eyes and I'm just like, so your ring, hey? How do I know you're telling me the truth? Are you willing to... Wait, do I have that? Oh, yeah, I do have the Zone of Truth. I was going to ask if he's willing to tell us about it, and that'll kind of take away some of my suspicion that he's not just trying to take the ring.
Kane already told us it's the family heirloom, not heirloom, but not Kane.
Oh.
Castino already told us that the family's had this ring for.
Yeah, but I think she's
while.
more alluding.
I'm saying him specifically.
That it's his, that it belongs to him.
Oh.
I
just got the impression it belongs to the family.
He sort of looks at you, and he says, I'm not really sure why you don't believe that it doesn't rightfully belong to me. I am the eldest son between my brother and I. It was written to me in the will of our grandfather, Thomas W. Glenathan.
Insight check?
Sure. Go ahead and roll me an insight check.
Yeah, I wanted to do
Zone of Truth, did you?
What's that?
You didn't end up using Zone of Truth, did you?
No. But I'm also doing an insight check.
Okay, go and roll.
I did, yeah. Nat 20.
Yeah, Smith, you're not really getting anything from him, but I mean, Albina, with what you say, I mean, with what he's saying, you don't suspect. You either think that he's telling you the truth, or because he does not seem to be actively, like, hiding anything or acting in a way that would lead you to believe he's hiding something, or he is just so good at lying that it is impossible for you to tell.
Okay.
It's one of those two, but it kind of leans you to believing that he's at least not trying to fabricate it.
Okay. So I'm gonna walk back over to next to Zash and Nylor and just be like, seems legit. What do you guys think? Who's in?
My only contingency is if we end up owing him a favor, I'm not doing anything illegal.
Yeah, I'd like clarification on this favor too.
You see, he laughs at that comment, and he says, the legality behind everything can always be questioned. Why do you think lawyers exist?
No.
Yeah, well, I'd prefer not to navigate the route of the court system, as, doesn't matter how good of a lawyer you have if you have a pissed off judge behind them.
There's a very easy solution to that.
You cannot pay him off for me on my behalf.
The judge.
And he shakes his head and slowly, and he says, "If you don't get caught, you don't have to deal with the consequences."
I appreciate the confidence, but we're not all perfect beings and mistakes happen all the time. Almost like a roll of the dice, if you will.
Nah.
Do your best.
What kind of insurance are you offering? Go ahead. Sorry.
No, do Hannah's first.
Collision? I don't know. Homeowners?
No. what kind of insurance policy do we have that if we don't find this ring, it's only going to be this one time, and that you're not going to just put an end to our lives?
Oh. So you're more questioning him. So are you questioning him if you don't find the ring or you don't return it, that he's not going to send someone after you?
I not necessarily don't return it. Like, I feel like we would have the intention to retrieve it. Like, I wouldn't take this and be like, I'm stealing it. Rather, like, I don't want it to be like, okay, you're in debt to this one favor, and then it's just like, no, it's never gonna end, and we become his minions without wanting to be.
I see what you're saying. Basically, never being able to pay off the debt because of interest of more task and more task and more task. He looks at you, and at that he says, "I've been waiting many years to get my hands on that ring. I had prepared, and I had planned. And the night of the fight was, not the night of the fight. The night of the night of the council meeting is going to be my night when I would finally get back that ring, and it was stolen from me. If you get me that ring,
Supposed to get who are you supposed to get it back from?
It's my brother.
How did he end up with it?
He took it from me.
How long ago?
He sort of like looks at the sky and he says, 30 years ago? More?
Wait, how old is this guy?
I mean, he's like, I don't know. I mean, look at
35. When I was a 5-year-old, he stole it from me.
He stole it on the big toe.
I mean, he's probably in his 40s or 50s.
Okay, I was just thinking he was younger. That's why.
I mean, he's older than Castino. Castino's in his peeling behind the curtain. Castino, the character is based on my buddy Glenn, who played a character named Castantino, and so Castino, the picture that I found, kind of sort of resembles my buddy Glenn, and Glenn's in his 40s. So Kane, being part of James's character's backstory, and I sort of combined, I sort of expanded on that a little bit. Kane is a little bit older than him.
Okay.
I got some questions.
Yeah.
Smith is a little concerned about what he intends to do with the ring once he actually gets it. Did Smith get a good idea, like what the ring does itself? Is it just the anti-magic part of it, or what does it do?
I know that Castino said that it was a ring of beholding. So if you want to roll a either a history or arcana check, I mean, your advantage only counts towards to things that you can see. So it would be about the same. You can roll to that to see what you might know of that. So from what you hearing of a ring of beholding, the obvious thing really comes to you. It's something relating to a beholder, which from what you saw of it, beholders have this central eye that shoots out a cone of anti-magic, that no magic can exist within that cone, but each one of their eye stalks also has the ability to shoot out a beam that does something different. And based on what based on what Nylor and Zash described when they were inside the vault with, with the imposter, that it was probably able to cast one of those spells. I'll say that you can maybe assume it might cast one kind beyond the anti-magic. It might cast more than one kind. You wouldn't know that without fully getting in your hands and examining it.
I'll ask, is his name Kane?
Yes.
I'll ask him what he intends to do with the ring once he has it.
And he sort of looks up and he says, "I just want it back. I could use it. I may use it. But it was stolen from me by those I care the most about. And I simply want what is mine."
I would like to know, how does your younger brother outsmart you and take something of great value like that from you?
He looks at you, and with a slight annoyance in his eyes, he says, "Because the baby went crying back to mommy and daddy." After everything I've done for him, after keeping sharks off his back, after keeping those that would see his financial destruction at bay, he still will not return what belongs to me.
When's the last time you two, sat down and actually talked?
Need some family therapy.
The day of my grandfather's funeral.
I think it might be time to let bygones be bygones and talk to your brother again.
When that ring is in my hands, we'll gladly go and talk to him.
Well, I'll say this to the group. You guys know my stipulations on the deal. It's up to you guys.
Out of game, I am kind of lost. I was trying to ask that before, but so the deal is get the
Deal
ring,
with who?
or okay, the deal with Kane is to what?
He
He'll
gives
give
you
us a location and a name.
he gives you the location and the identity of the person who killed Zash's brother. And in return, he wants you to get the ring.
Okay, so
And
wait, he's offering that
time
information
frame?
first?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Oh.
And there's no time frame to get the ring or any leads, or we're just gonna
Well, the lead
find
is
it
he
one day.
knows the name of the person who has it.
No, not necessarily.
No, he knows the person who tried to kill your brother or kid
Well, isn't it
has
the
his
same
body
person?
or something.
Didn't we find out that they're connected?
You have not asked him that yet.
I didn't think they were.
That is like the one thing that you guys have not asked him yet.
Gotta get the credibility down first.
Person?
Yeah, nobody has asked, who is it?
Okay.
Because
I would.
whoever stole the ring may not have kept it, may have given it to a person who wanted it.
I'd rather find out
And
who has the ring
I was nobody
before we find out the information
necessarily knows.
and owe him something.
Nope. No, anyhow,
Wait,
I was just trying to clarify as a player for Iluna's response to this because it might not be the one you want.
What are you trying to clarify?
Yeah, so in my head, it's Kane will give us this information to help, I guess, find Zash's brother's body. At least get us closer to finding a solution, the answer to that. In return, we agree to find the Beholder ring and give it back to him. But if we don't find it,
we owe him like
he
a
would
big
be
favor or
owed
something.
a random unknown favor.
And judging, this is probably definitely metagame knowledge, especially for me. But knowing that he was after Cedric, you can only imagine what kind of stuff he's gonna want.
Well, I mean, that's not even metagame knowledge. Our characters know that he's like a crooky, shady guy.
I think we should change up this deal.
That's why I said, like, I do it, but I'm not doing anything illegal.
We need to know what the secondary favor is, but Iluna would say, Zash, I'm all for helping find your brother's body. Still want almost nothing to do with that ring.
I mean, out of game, we could get the information and then kill him or attempt to kill him.
We can always mock duck.
I mean, if he gives us the information, like we're all out in the open, including his little archer buddies. I mean, we
We don't know how many more people he has.
Yeah, we don't. I still don't trust him.
Yeah.
He could still be a really good liar. That I am obviously unable to detect even with a nat 20.
Didn't? Oh, you rolled a nat 20?
On an insight check, yeah.
Holy moly! Okay.
Yeah, so he said he's either such a good liar that I can't tell, or I see that he doesn't have anything to hide, and it's kind of like, okay, your story sounds legit. So.
I mean, I don't know. It's like he could be setting us up. He could be like, oh yeah, this is the guy who killed your brother. It could be like some big like archlich or something that kills us. And I don't know. This guy doesn't seem trustworthy to me. I feel like we should try to get as much information, but not agree to do anything.
I mean,
I don't think we're gonna get it here without an agreement.
I don't like. We're gonna have to get the information from him. So like, if we want to do it, I feel like we have to agree. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna end well because he's gonna want us to do some shady shit.
We can make it strategically that not the whole group doesn't agree, that you really wanted to help him out because your brother.
I mean, can we ask him if he has any idea where the ring is?
Yeah, let's get back in game, I guess.
Yeah.
You ask that, and he says, "Yes."
Whereabouts do you think it is, so we know where to look?
He kind of has like a raised eyebrow, and he looks over at Zash and looks over at you, and he says, "Did you not hear when I said, your brother's murderer, the one who took the ring, mutual interest, same person?" So
yeah, so it is the same person. The guy who took the ring is the person who killed my brother.
The man who went behind my back and betrayed me is the man who killed your brother.
Yes. Why does he have a metal claw hand?
He doesn't.
Is that illusion?
he's an old, scrawny kind of. Imagine 100-year-old man that has been starving himself for 5 years. It's kind of what he looks like. He's not hard to miss.
What are we going up against? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Have we just had a game? Have we? Was Kate around when we mentioned that what attacked us in the casino?
No.
Okay.
You know what all we're going against, Kane? Tell us more about this guy.
He's a high-level mage, and if he has my ring, you're going up against a hell of a fight.
Do you have anything that could make the fight tip a little bit more in our favor?
He sort of like unfortunately shakes his head no, and he says, if he has my ring, magic is going to be near ineffective against him. Unless you
What kind
can...
of weapons?
He's
Go ahead,
still...
sorry.
He sort of shrugs his shoulders. He says, he's still mortal. If you can get close enough to him, he can still be killed. He says, I'm not... he sort of looks over at his two guys standing across the way. He says, I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna send some of my men after him. But, I was going through my preparations and a meeting whenever you had messaged me, and I see this opportunity presents itself.
And you sent some of your guys with us to help? Because if we die, then you have no way you're getting your ring back. And it's a loss for both of us. We lose our lives, and you lose somebody who can help you get your ring back. If this is a mutually beneficial transaction, you should do whatever you can to help us. Can I gesture towards Albina? Like, we saw what you just did. You countered our spells. You are typically you have ways of helping us yourself. Why are you hiding behind your men? Why can't you come with us?
And he sort of, picks up his staff, and he says, did you not hear what I said? Magic items and magic around him are near ineffective so long as he possesses that ring.
What are you wearing, Kane? What is all that?
And he sort of shrugs, and he gestures to he gestures to his staff, his cane, and he says, this puts out a small field around me, perceptible to only those who can detect traces of magic, that it can nullify any spell that is cast within 5 feet of me. And he looks down at his belt, and he says, and this one, as long as I can see the effect happening, I can attempt to put a stop to it.
Okay.
And he says,
question.
Oh, sorry.
When you finished.
And he says, I know my brother has similar artifacts. We both are... paranoid is a word. About people coming after us. I've always cared for my younger brother. That's why I want to make sure that he is safe.
Albina, go ahead, Luna, then I'll ask. Go ahead.
You said this person is a powerful mage. Is that in his own right or with artifacts and similar rings and stuff like you have? I mean, you said if we could get close enough.
He.
Basic.
Shit.
Would that ring nullify his own magic?
No,
If he had
because
innate magic.
it
nullifies magic.
It nullifies magic within the field in front of it.
So this guy is a powerful innately, or with
In his own
artifacts.
Oh
only.
my god, my app keeps crashing. What the fuck? He nods and he says, "He is. Unfortunately, he's one of the ones that he's the mage that I had introduced Thunsorn to, because I knew his abilities would allow him to let Thunsorn accomplish the things that he needed to accomplish."
Well, if that's the case, and he's some big bad mage, could we borrow that stuff? Or borrow what you have on your belt if it's going to protect us?
Abino was gonna say,
magic.
Well, after he said that about he always wanted to protect his brother, I think it's time you talk to your brother, and we may need to join forces. I was uneasy regardless going into this not knowing anything, but the small details we knew from our altercation with him. But I think, and I hold up the hat, this hat, your brother has resources, you have resources combined, is most likely the way to go. If you truly want to protect him and you want your ring back, reconciliation isn't necessarily the worst idea here, sir.
And he nods and he says, I understand what you're saying. These are things that I have thought for many years. Not sure where it would go. When I get my ring, I have every intention of reaching out to my brother and discussing
Why do you have
things
to
with him.
wait?
Because I want the ring back. It is
Okay,
mine.
but if you guys join forces, that'll give us a better chance of getting your ring back, and then once we have the ring back, then you could have your conversation with him about who it belongs to. That does not concern us.
And he looks at you and he says, the resources that we offer are magical artifacts. Limited that we would be able to hand them out. But, again, the ring that he has is able to nullify and counteract any magical effect within 150 feet of it.
In a cone in front of them. Let me ask you this.
And he sort of
take me as an arcane practitioner?
And he sort of looks at you and he says, and he sort of looks at you and he says, that is the permanent effect. If that shit has learned how to actually use the ring, he can create a field of anti-magic around him in 150 feet. Any spell you cast at him, any items you have, any constructs, anything that you can summon that gets within 150 feet of him would be destroyed. Well,
this hat, for example?
I say destroyed. Would be rendered ineffective.
So with this hat, I hold it up, would this be of no use to me?
It would be a hat.
I see.
Do you understand why I wish to get that ring back?
kind of weapons do you have that you can offer us?
He sort of looks at all of you and he says, poison crossbows is about the most that I can offer. You must understand that I still have affairs that I must attend to. I was planning on sending a small strike team to go after the ring to at least gain some information. But if you are seeking that information from me, then we should be able to come to an agreement.
Can we also bring your strike team?
They can go with you. Should anything befall you, they would run and alert me of the situation.
Running isn't necessary. I can easily stay back and make you alert of the situation via sending.
And if you shall fall in battle, they will do their jobs.
And they're trustworthy?
They are loyal.
To you.
I mean, didn't you say that the person that ended up stealing your ring was loyal to you?
The difference there is that the one who betrayed me has lost his mind ages ago.
Oh, Jesus.
How many
This
is in
very
this strike
divisive
team?
object.
Mixed up. No. Didn't Cast slightly out of game, didn't Castino say somebody was rumored to have lost his mind? Is that Castino who told all of us?
Castino did tell you guys that, it is
Or-
claimed that something had
Miska.
happened to Miska, and then, it is said that he sort of went
Yeah.
mad.
Yeah,
How many's in
I
this
thought it
team
was to
you'd
all
be
of us,
sending?
not to one person.
3.
3.
Yes.
I just look back at the guys, and I Luna, and just kind of like make eye contact with them.
He says, they are capable fighters, but my men are trained in the art of stealth. It is better to get in and out unseen than it is to have to put up a fight.
Indeed.
I want to see and speak to each one of them. I just want to be familiar with them because I'm thinking in the future if I need to send a specific message with any one of them to get to you, I'd like to know who I'm sending it to.
I'm aware of how your spells work. Each one of them will have a symbol that they will bear, that you can use that to reach to them. I too understand the limitations of the sending spell.
I'll just look at the group and ask, what do you guys think?
I think the majority of our party uses magic. I think this is going to be a fight that we cannot win.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough.
It's going to be really hard. I'll look back at Castino.
No,
Would
Kane.
these Kane, would these anti-magic fields stop healing as well? From magical means or potions?
Potions would be rendered a simple, unflavorful concoction, and any kind of magic. But this is why I have been trying to get a move on and figure out who it was that took my ring, and when I finally learned, I was planning on setting out this strike force to get the information so that I could make a hiring to get my ring back.
Kind of look over at him and just say, I don't think this is going to be feasible at this time. It's too risky, and
The longer that we wait, the more time he has to realize the power that ring holds.
do you have any other allies? Anyone that can go with us?
And he sort of chuckles, and he says, I have a business partner, but if I'm not mistaken, I believe you wiped out about, a fraction of his forces just a few days ago.
Yes.
So I do not believe that he would be in the kindest regards to assisting you, even if it is to my benefit. He is a free man after all.
Well, what do you guys think?
Smith.
Man.
I walk over to Smith at this point.
I don't think we have any other choice.
I don't think we do either.
No.
I'm not looking forward to fighting this guy, considering I use nothing but magic, but I'm hoping you guys can...
Oh, sorry.
That's about all I had to say. I'm hoping you guys can find a way to take him out. I'm hoping we can find a way to take him out without using magic.
So I have a mechanical question.
Yeah.
During the fight, could Seftus and I try to, grapple him for the ring?
Yeah, again, he's still just a dude.
Forcefully remove it?
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason that you could not remove the ring. I mean, the ring is just a ring. It's not like...
Okay.
Unless
right.
he... I mean, unless he went Thanos, put it onto a gauntlet, suit of armor.
Well, they pulled the gauntlet off.
Again, if he made a suit of armor. I'm not saying he did that.
Us he's an artist, Sergeant Lucas?
I'm not saying that he did that.
We're level 6.
I'm well aware. I'm not saying that he did that. But again, like he said, there definitely is an opportunity there to to get it off of him.
But he did also say he's a very powerful mage, so I am assuming very powerful mages have ways of getting the fuck away from people.
There's a teleportation circle.
I think we need to focus on the meeting, guys, and then we can start this mission.
Well, yeah, we wouldn't go right now to this.
Go with the information.
But we still have to get information. We can't do anything towards this goal without him telling us what he knows.
Yeah, I guess that's the only thing that we could do.
Alright. I'll walk up to Kane and I'll stick my hand out and I'll say, if we can't get the ring, try to keep it to an escort mission, protecting someone, delivering goods to the bakery, no illegal shit.
He sort of gets a little chuckle, and he says, You could always pay me in fingers.
I just start stretching out my hand that has pretty much the hole in it. This hand might do the trick.
He nods.
Your hand has a hole in it?
I broke the
one that she was shot with.
Yeah, there was an arrow. Yeah, there was an arrow right in it, and I just kind of have ripped off a piece of my my cloak and have it
Nice.
like tied around my hand. I'm just like stretching it out. Like, salve
She's
worked,
not
by the
been
way.
healed yet. She just feels a bit better
Yeah.
temporarily.
I'm gonna look at him and be like, listen, dude, we're all into what we're into. Not trying to kink shame, but I'm not
He's sort of
not really my gig.
He sort of looks at you and he says, I have a pet bird that likes to gnaw on fingers.
And us bringing you fingers isn't good enough for you. What? Wait. What kind of bird eats fingers?
Oh.
Oh, tiki.
The kind
He has
of
a
bird,
cockatrice at home.
the kind of bird that I have.
Which is
A wonderful bird
Companion.
of beautiful plumage.
And if you were gonna say that this bird belonged to a specific species, it would be
A vulture.
Is it
And he sort of raises an eyebrow and he says, Have you ever seen the effects of such a high level control, or have you ever seen such effects of a high level enchantment spell that it turns someone into the base of what a human is?
we saw an enchantment spell that turned a girl into a cow for 17 years.
He sort of looks down at you and he says, that's basic conjuration. Or, no, sorry, not conjuration. He says, that's basic transmutation.
Can't say that I have.
And he says, there was once an Aarakocra who had befallen such a powerful spell that he was deemed no longer of his own will and accord. I bought him off of a trader in order to give him a reasonable life. The only
Your
thing
pet is an Aarakocra?
And he nods. And he says, the only thing that he ever wants is to chew on fingers.
That's a little weird.
That and
gross?
something occasionally about a sword.
About a sword?
It is few and far between. I know not his name.
You don't know the sword's name?
Oh, no. He's saying about the Aarakocra. He says,
Oh.
I don't know what he went by in his previous life.
Do you call him?
Son.
I'm like only this much regretting that I asked, but you know, I'm sure we could wrangle up a few spare fingers somewhere.
So you're saying, Kane, that if we are unable to retrieve this ring, we could pay back this debt to you in fingers.
Not in any fingers. You would pay me in yours.
Like mine specifically?
And
yeah, that's why Alvina was like, "Oh, these will do the trick on this hand."
And he nods. He says, "It's kind of a calling card of mine."
Yeah. I don't even know. We'll have a weird flashback about some dude with 7 fingers.
We're just going to
like
ignore the slightly sociopathic trends of this fellow.
He has a cigar cutter in his pocket. Yeah, this is what I like to use.
Yeah, but it's like twice as high.
Gross.
I guess we have a deal. Tell us what you know.
I'm not giving him my fucking fingers. He can fuck off with that.
Well, hopefully, if we are unable to do this for him, hopefully the job is something we could do then.
Well, I mean, if it's something we can't do, then we just gonna be fisticuffing it.
Fisticuffing it.
Yerp.
That's the name of this week's session. Fisticuffing it.
Fisticuffing it. Love it.
Oh man.
Alright, well, I'll just look at Kane and be like, well, that's not on the table because I need my fingers, and then I'll give him the double birds.
And then you'll give him the what?
Double birds.
Oh. And he...
It's as a joke.
Yeah. He just sort of like, shrugs his shoulders. He says, as long as I can count on you to attend to task if need be, but I think you should be just fine in retrieving my ring.
Okay. Well, what are these three guys' names? Louie, Huey, and Dewey?
No, I mean, it's kind of weird that you said that because they go by code names, which is LDH.
See, I have a gift where I can kind of predict the future, but it's always slightly off.
You see, I believe that is called taking a guess.
No, it's called foresight.
Well,
the names. I'm getting hungry.
Anyways, yeah. So who's this mage?
Where?
Where is he?
His name is Almo Grazov.
We've heard that name before.
And do you have a map with you of the area?
I pull out my map.
All right. And he puts a mark on the map. There is where a small town used to be located before the eruption of Mount Hottenau. He has taken claim there. He is a skilled necromancer. And from my understanding, the town that lies before his tower is still teeming with undead that he has raised in his time there.
Love that adventure for us.
Inside of the town, there is a tower. It used to be I believe it was at one time. Oh, sorry. Jesus. It says, I believe at one time it was used as a community center in a way. A few stories, but word has told that in time he turned it into a keep of his own.
Is there any way to get him to meet somewhere?
At this point, he knows that I'm coming for the ring. So, I'm confident that he would not agree to meet me anywhere.
Does he have connections with anybody else that you know of?
Not that I am aware of.
Does he know of your brother?
He knows of my brother only through my connection.
Who originally told us of him?
Unsorm.
Was it
He's not-
Dunsorn?
Or Benny. Or Benny.
Yeah, Benny.
Yes.
Well, yeah,
And we're talking about the
during that meeting.
Okay.
Do you think he'd
it was Dunsorn.
you think he'd agree to meet if we went on behalf of your brother who wanted to make a deal of some sort in saying that he's fine, he just wants payment for the ring and to keep it out of your hands, some kind of plot. You think he would buy into it?
I highly doubt it. He is a shrewd one. But
Mr. Grinch.
yeah.
Am I remembering things wrong? Was that location put on the map already?
Yes,
Is
technically it
really
was.
Yeah.
Near where
What
the gem or
location?
whatever was.
No.
That no,
No,
not that
nope.
location.
No, that's further out to the
Well, I
to
feel
the
like
east.
okay.
Oh,
But-
I'm sorry. I was looking at the Encounter Plus. I'm like, I didn't see anything
No.
change.
The location on the map, I feel like was definitely put on there
we
before
started
told
around there,
me to
didn't we?
fly.
No.
So,
What you're
we were-
remembering is that is where Castino told you that a creepy mage's tower was located that people had talked about.
Oh. So it's the same.
I'm gonna look at Kane and say, you didn't give us any information we didn't already know.
Then,
Something else you want to add in?
Considering going there, possibly anyhow.
then I'm not sure why you're still standing here and why you have not gone after your brother's murderer.
We didn't know that.
Then I believe that our transaction has been an exchange of information so far.
Seems a little skewed.
You call me out to a place that holds personal import to me. You attempt an ambush. Your feisty little holy warrior here attempts to attack me. I offer you an opportunity to simply discuss what it was that you wish to discuss, and then you tell me that you feel that the tables are not evenly balanced in your favor, as 6 of you stand on this side of the water, and my 2 allies stand over there. Your idea of skewed is what seems skewed.
Well, I must give you credit to your power of observation, but I would like to remind you that this was never a planned ambush. It was always to just talk.
Then you might want to tell that to the one that struck me in the neck.
Hey, I can't control other people's actions. I'm just telling you the truth. If it was a planned ambush, we wouldn't have waited.
Also, if it was a planned ambush, he would not be alive.
Sorry, I took my moments.
And he smiles and he says, he smiles and he says, if that is what you wish to believe.
It's not what I believe.
I mean,
So when... Oh, go ahead.
we do have things that we have to take care of, so, this isn't going to be started immediately.
As do I.
But,
I'll contact you.
yeah, we'll talk to you when we talk to you.
We'll be here in town, don't worry.
I will be keeping a
For at
watch.
least a few days.
Well,
Please, after you.
And he
Tell me
nods his
who
head,
the partners.
and you see that he looks over towards the lake, and he taps the heels of his boots together and takes a step, and
There's no place like home.
simply simply appears on the other side of the water in the blink of an eye, and looks
Are there
at
any shadows over there?
any shadows.
You're
No,
gonna do
no,
this
yeah,
thing
yeah, yeah,
thing?
no.
There's no shadows, like.
Oh, I
from
mean, in the trees, yes. Yeah, I thought you meant like right where he is.
Yeah. Can I slip behind the rock and jump over?
Sure, if you want.
I
Neat
do.
trick.
Yeah. Go ahead and use a key point. Yeah, you.
Let me see if
Where do you want to jump to?
behind him.
Also,
Just to show him, like,
well,
yeah, I have cool tricks too.
Okay. So the moment you blink over to here, you appear out of a shadow that is sort of cast by that's cast by, we'll say, like a little bit of this rock, but like maybe the sun is kind of like, casting a little bit of a shadow on that tree. And whenever you come out, the rest of you who are standing there watching this from afar, you see this one who is standing here. The moment you pop out, he has a short sword drawn, imposing it between you and Kane.
Okay. I'll just look at him. Just look at Kane and say, travel safe.
I always do.
I'll be flying above. No, I'm just kidding.
God, I want to kill him so bad.
And
I have a question.
Do it, Smith. I'm down. Fuck this guy.
He mentioned his belt and it was his staff. It would stop anything from being cast within 5 feet of him?
So the way that he described the belt is that as long as he can see the effect, he can try and stop it. But the cane has a passive ability that up to a certain threshold, spells cast within 5 feet of it are basically nullified.
So if I had my spirit guardians where I am and I ran toward them, would those be nullified? I was just trying to figure out if I understood that properly.
He could. I mean, from what you can gather, the belt might be counterspell, and the cane might be like a low form of anti-magic. That does not necessarily mean that those are dispel magic. If he does not see you casting spirit guardians, he might not have that, you know, you don't know that.
Gotcha. No, I was just thinking since the last time. I was like, oh man, I should have my spirit guardians already set. So if anything happened, but you know, that would have not been good because he would have detected magic already.
Well, the moment he would have walked into your aura, he would have been attacked. Because you have to designate those that are safe in your aura. All other creatures are, you know, aggressive.
Yeah, so that wouldn't have been any good because we were not trying to fight.
Yeah, I mean, he would have seen them, like, you know, fluttering around you anyway.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So with that, you see these two jump up into the trees with a single bound and sort of, you know, disappear into the shadows that are there as Kane slowly begins walking away. And when he unless anybody wants to do anything, I don't want to take that away from anyone.
Do you guys want to kill him?
I want to hit him so bad.
I'm just kind of like, sorry about that strike. It was nothing personal. I wasn't sure what was going to happen there.
I do want his magic items.
I know, they're really good.
He
turns have the information.
He turns around and looks at you and he says, I will forgive you. I will not forget.
God, I fucking hate him so much. Can we kill him?
I just waved my hand, that's all. Yeah, I won't forget either, and take care.
We must remember, his whole family has access to all sorts of artifacts. We'd be marked.
His family seems pretty fucking divided. They all seem to hate each other.
I don't think now is the time to try to take things from him.
In the end, they would probably stand up for family.
In the end.
I mean,
it doesn't even...
I don't feel like getting shot again and dying from a poison.
He wanted to kind of reconcile with his brother. He just wants his ring back first.
Yeah, that's all he wants. He wants a super powerful ring that shoots eye beams out of it. Just wants his ring back.
He's definitely not getting the ring. So, we're not giving that to him. There's no way.
I gotta use the bathroom real fast, but I sort of
do as well.
Sort of want to leave off on this before I walk away. As he is walking out of there,
he flicks us off.
No, he lets out a short, shrill whistle, and you hear the trees rustling over here, over here, over here, over here, over here.
Oh my god.
Down here, and back here. You just hear this almost like if, you know, somebody had gone up and, like, shaken the base of the tree to just create this, like, you hear it from, like, that, like, whole surrounding area.
It's just an illusion. Shouldn't
okay,
Smith, do it.
Smith, do you have thaumaturgy?
I do not.
Fuck. I was gonna say, I want to do it back.
That's a cleric spell.
Is it? I thought Meechus could get it too.
I know that. I just know that it is a.
Does anybody have thaumaturgy?
Not yet. I can go pray.
I can light all the trees on fire.
Take a nap.
Yeah, I think it was pretty obvious that he had like a ton of people.
Do you guys want to see
in the woods?
I was thinking I would do what does my mass healing word do? Oops, I accidentally cast it. I didn't mean to do that. Okay.
Here, if you guys.
Oh, that's up to 6 people. Never mind.
If you guys want to see, look at the map.
Oh, look at those cute little orcs. Well, then why the heck is he sending them with us? That jerk.
I was guessing 10 to 12, so I was just off.
Why wouldn't he have them as our backup? I'm just annoyed with this guy.
Well, he's given us 3 when
3.
We were ready to go, so it's better than 0.
I feel like he didn't want to give us any of them.
and out of game, it's not like Lucas can just be like, "Here's a mini army to go fight this boss I created
Well,
for you."
the thing I was
yeah.
hoping to call him with sending and be like, we need backup. That's why I'm like, how many you got? And he's like 3. Oh,
I mean,
okay. Well, keep
I mean-
one here and then the other
I mean,
two waiting.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, there's an entire system built into built into D&D for hiring people, like to actually hire like a mercenary. So because you can like you can hire somebody based on, you know, like if your team does not have a mage, you can hire a mage. If your team doesn't have a healer, you can hire a healer. So
Gotcha.
there's
and if you just let them accidentally die in battle, you don't have to pay for it.
You don't have to pay for them, but here is the downside. If you're actually playing in a game, or if you're playing in a system that the DM is using XP, the XP is divided amongst with the hirelings taken into account. So like if you guys had 3 hirelings with you, and for this case they're going to be 3 rogues, you basically would be dividing up all of your XP with an additional 3 people. So
I gotcha.
And granted, I do milestone, so mine's obviously different. So I don't really worry about that. But potentially, if you guys did have a bunch of hirelings with you all the time, that will. Not only is it going to kill action economy, and you guys are basically going to steamroll the campaign just because, you know, if you have 5 or 6 hirelings with you,
right?
But also, because you have so many hirelings, you guys aren't having to do nearly as much in combat. So that means that I would be like, okay, well, I was planning on you guys leveling up once you finish this quest, but there's 12 of you, so you're going to have to do something else because you only gained about half the experience from it all.
Yeah, that's true. Gotcha.
But yeah, so yeah, I'm going to use the bathroom, and then we'll figure out where we want to go from here.
I'll be right back as well.
Bathroom break.
I'll be right back, guys.
So yeah, sorry about that. I thought we were gonna be getting initiative, so I was like, you know what? I might as well just try to get things ahead. He found us out. He's gonna kill us. That's what I was thinking.
You know, honestly, is there even any point to us going to the Moonstone Mask anymore?
I don't know.
I mean,
Sorry.
like, did we have anything specific to get from Miska? Because it just feels kind of blasé at this point.
That's true.
We were trying to secretly find out what the meeting was about, I guess.
Yeah, we could still
Here-
go and try to eavesdrop.
Yeah, and the one friend of Nylor, right? Not friend, practically his mother, right? She's gonna be there, maybe. There might be some help. Sorry, I'm walking up and down the steps here. I'm getting some coffee.
Personally, trying to see or comprehend like Iluna's role in the Moonstone Mask besides waiting, along with Smith and Septus and I guess Nyla was gonna probably be a
It was
spider.
gonna be here. JJ go? Who was? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it was you and I, because you could do sending, right?
Yeah, I have one
like,
more
just
Sunday.
in case.
Yeah, and then
Or like, I wonder if it's better to have you on the outside to send us a message if something goes wrong. Because I mean, like, if we're inside and something goes wrong, like what, you know, I don't really know what a sending spell to let the others outside know is gonna really do.
yeah.
I don't know.
Why do we want to go to the Moonstone Mask again?
To try to figure out
we're
what
not
Miska
sure
is
yet.
meeting the guy with about.
Yeah, he was going to meet one of his troubleshooter guards after the job was done. And maybe we would find out what the next plan would be, but you can't find out because the guy is not dead, but not showing up. So no one's showing up. We'd be listening in a meeting where he's wondering, maybe talking about what to do about us because we took out all of his dudes. I mean, when the meeting, he may not even. I'm thinking more real world style, like maybe Miska already knows what's going on. His guy's not going to meet up with him anyhow. Be like, he's not even there. Cancelled.
Sorry for the kitchen noises.
Oh, good in the hood.
I didn't hear any. Are we all back?
Well, no, obviously, Hannah's in the kitchen.
Oh, she can hear. I didn't think we were making any decisive entry.
Yeah.
Besides, we're
I can always
into
run.
town.
I was just getting I kind of made a mess earlier when I nearly burnt the air fryer down and everything. And I just wanted to get a cup. I kind of threw everything all over the place. So we were discussing if we should go to the Moonstone Mask still.
We're unsure of what information would be gathered there.
I kind of wasn't clear on what the whole. We were just trying to get more information from Miska from that.
I mean, that was entirely up to you guys.
More information about what? The ring?
That's what I was figure out what exactly. I didn't understand. I was just gonna go because I could do the sending, but I didn't kind of understand the whole meeting in general, I guess.
We would, if Miska's still even going to his meeting with a person who isn't going to show up, at this point, probably comprehends he's not going to show up.
What exactly did the note say?
What would he say?
Did you post it? I don't remember.
I did a while ago.
I'm scrolling.
I think that's the main thing. Like, I feel like I did understand a little bit, and then I kind of, after these different cancellations, I'm like trying to remember bits and pieces. Let me see.
Hi, Lucas.
Hi, Aaron.
About the rest of us, are we chopped liver? Hi.
Hi,
And-
Matt. Hi, Smith. Hi, Stacy. Hi,
Aaron.
Tony. Hi, JJ.
Hello.
Hi, Steve.
See, so polite.
I don't even know. I can't for the life of me find that in the chat. Wait, what was the session?
It's
You
like
guys-
around. It's like around 5-1 because I just found our conversation where we were talking about the like morality of killing the people.
Yeah. Huh. Okay.
I could have swore you posted it.
I know, so did I. I'm gonna check my notes, because I might just have it stored somewhere in a place that I'm not looking. Nope, not stored in a place I'm not looking. Or wait, is it here? No. Here? No. These notes? No. It's not in the murder all the players contingency.
We weren't supposed to tell him I was doing that yet.
Alright. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure where that note went. But basically what it was alluding to is that that there was going to be a meeting between Miska and the guy that you had dragged back to the the guy that you had dragged back to the fight, back to the Innsmouth estate. That was where you found that note, was on his body.
Right. Do you remember what it said? It was just the meeting place?
Yeah, meeting at Moonstone, Mass.
It.
Did you?
Oh, it says once the job with the Innsmouth is done, meet me at the Moonstone Mask the night before the grand ball.
Okay.
Where was that? What day was that?
Session 33.
Yeah, that was the one I was looking at. There.
But that's all it says. Meet once the job is done. At this point, I would imagine Miska knows the job was not successful.
Right.
And he shouldn't be expecting this guard to show up.
Well,
so I don't know what we would
even
be learning.
Yeah, even
if
if
he would,
he,
if Miska's still there and meeting anyhow, maybe he'd be meeting with other people.
yeah,
I
that's
guess we could learn future plans, which would probably involve chasing us down. So I guess if we
yeah,
want to spy on a potential meeting,
yeah,
I'm
and like if he was
50-50.
meeting that guy specifically, like we might not even learn anything. It might just be Miska and like 2 bodyguards literally trying to meet that guy. So
Yeah, waiting. Some reason
I mean, like,
being
is there any
uninformed that
harm?
he's not.
Is there any harm in us going? I don't think so.
Oh,
Like, if it
getting
turns out to be
caught
nothing, it's just
spying.
nothing. Well, how would he know? I think
Magic
how many
watching
got away?
people.
1 or 2?
2.
2.
2?
Yep.
No, yeah, 2 went
Because I caught the one,
directly.
and
Because
Septus
two,
killed
you each,
one.
yeah, you each went after 2 and only caught up with 1. 1
Right.
fell down, and the other one you
Yeah.
brought back.
Yeah. One of them fell down the stairs and hit a rock. I'm sorry, an axe. A sword. A sword. I don't know. It could also be a trap, though, too. Because if they got away and got to Miska and told them what happened, they could definitely be a trap for us.
True. This is
Because they would
secret
at
code
least have an
for
idea of what we look like. I don't know. It's up to you guys if you want to go or not. I don't think we'll really learn much of importance. We could also just try to stake the place out just to see what Miska actually looks like, because I don't think we've actually seen Miska. We don't know
haven't
what he
seen him,
looks
but we have a
like.
decent description. We have a good description. The
Yeah.
long black hair.
I say we go
But
after the main.
Go to the
do the
mage.
meeting, and then just go after the mage and ignore Miska.
I say we ignore the
The
meeting altogether. The Moonstone Mask.
No, I'm talking about the other meeting. The with
so
the
we're gonna skip
council, because that's in like the next
ahead
day,
to the
right?
council.
Yep.
Yes. Skip
Yeah.
ahead to the council meeting.
So like skip the Moonstone Mask, go straight to the council meeting, and then after that, go deal with the mage.
So we can long rest.
Pretty much, yeah.
What are we doing at the council meeting?
I wasn't.
Sorry.
Well, we were
That's
summoned,
the whole
or
reason we're
going to
stayed.
be summoned.
We were staying up there.
Yeah. That's the council meeting, to our knowledge, is about the black dragon
The egg,
and the other
the
dragons.
egg we have.
Yeah, and like all the recent activities of the dragon flights.
Gotcha.
I mean, if we skip the Moonstone Mask meeting, we're skipping some level of information, and or
Right.
getting caught spying. There's that slight possibility. Or getting caught in a trap. Like the note was left to be found, so if they were not successful with the Innsmiths, which they weren't.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
He
no,
might not
I
even
kind
go.
of wanted. He might not go. I kind of
Yeah.
like jumping to the
meeting.
main meeting, the council meeting.
The council meeting. Okay, I'm down with that too.
Are we ready? I mean, that would skip ahead a whole
Just a couple of
day,
hours.
over a day.
So then I'm gonna long rest, or no?
Well, we would long rest because we would pass through nighttime.
Right.
And so
Well, someone said it was a couple hours
as
away.
long as-
Like, just
Well,
acceptable.
it's
Yeah, it's. Yeah, I mean,
it's like 6 o'clock in the evening right now.
oh, it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Is it? I thought it was later.
Nope. You guys walked out there at about like you started walking about 1, and
Okay.
got out there about 2. You know, spent a little while there chatting with Kane.
Yeah, I mean, we could just go to the meeting. I'm fine with that. And just skip Miska altogether.
Skip Moonstone Mask.
Yeah, I mean, it honestly, like, it all seems pretty irrelevant at the moment. I don't know.
Feel like
He could have
we
connections with this mage, too.
We were trying to track him down to... But we wouldn't learn anything, like...
That we know of. Miska could know something about the mage. Although he probably wouldn't talk about it.
Didn't Kane say that he had, like, his friend was Mishka?
Yeah.
Miska works for Kane.
He already hinted, Kane told us Miska probably wouldn't be an ally with us because already everyone knows we weren't very friendly.
Right.
So we probably might not want to go near Miska right now. But we have to occupy ourselves where we can just hole up in the inn for a day.
Just hang out.
Shopping spree.
Just hang out.
Yeah, or we just time skip to the meeting.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, time skip.
Yeah.
Wow.
Part. I mean, there's one smallish thing that Iluna was interested in doing, is seeing, what's her name, Adabra, about her little potions.
I mean, if you want to do that during the time skip, that's not a problem.
I wasn't prepared to do that, unless it's a short, like...
Yeah, I'm gonna look at my spells while you're doing that then.
Says, hey, I made these potions, what do you think? That's kind of the conversation she was expecting.
I mean, that's what I mean. Like, if we want to do a time skip, or if you guys want to do a time skip and ignore the mask and not go to the mask that Lord Innsmouth had already bought you tickets to, and worried about going to Miska, that's entirely up to you. I mean, just like slap in the face of Lord Innsmouth, but whatever. Then we can just time skip and completely pass over all the events that could have gone on and all the stuff that would have happened to the council meeting, the Council of Neverwinter. I don't have an issue with that. If that's what you guys want to do, you will have a chunk of like almost 30 hours that you guys can do. And if you want to hey, I would have done this during the time, during the time skip. I don't have an issue if you want to, mention that out of game, to me saying like, hey, this is what I would have spent my time doing. I don't have an issue with that. If there's something that you want to buy, you'll have to almost make that decision now if we are moving up to the council meeting, to sort of make it, well, I guess as long as some magic, as long as something that, you're not like, I would have bought this during then, doesn't come up, we can argue that you could have done that, as long as it's not like, oh, I bought a defender shield.
Right.
If it's like, oh, I bought, a couple potions, or, like stuff like that that's readily available.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now I feel like we need to go to the Moonstone Mask. Can you just tell me, Lucas, like, which of those letters were capitalized? Can you just type that out to me real quick? Just the capitalized letters with the coded message.
Just the capitalized letters. It would have been MISKA ISA POL PLO T DEVICE. Yeah. If we had if we did that, it would have probably spelled out Miska as a plot device.
It's a plot device.
I don't know what you guys want me. I don't know what you're gonna say. I'm not gonna tell you if you feel that there is no need to go there. You guys can make that decision. We can move on to the mask. I just literally have to pull up. I just have to pull up a different book
because this is technically where the meshing of the two campaigns starts.
Okay.
I don't have an issue with that in any way, shape, or form. It's not a big deal.
You just had to
I just have to switch over to the other
the
book.
Innsmith spent a
Poor
bunch
Lord
of
Innsmith,
money.
backhanded.
Yeah, I mean, just like, the idea of, like, hey, Lord Innsmouth, we need to go to this place. And it's like, oh, yeah, I can make that happen.
At all vouching for DM who created a whole extra story.
Oh, about
just
that,
like,
Lord
yeah.
Innsmouth. Sorry.
Stacy,
Slap.
do you want to skip Moonstone or
Okay,
go?
from perspective of Iluna, she doesn't understand why we would all be going in the first place or what we would be getting from there. She just isn't fully. She would go if everyone's going.
Okay, well,
Because
yes or
go
no?
team. But if I was voting, Iluna doesn't understand why we'd be going at all.
So no.
Like, yeah, no.
Okay. Hannah?
Well, I already long rested.
Oh,
Because I thought we had already I asked twice, and I'm like, so we're long resting? Okay. I mean, I did only have one third level spell left, and I was at 19 and then 5 temp. That's all I did. So I guess I could always put it back to that.
You will get a short rest at least before we go, so.
yeah.
But will that'll restore my hit points?
If you roll dice.
You can do.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, a short rest, you can roll hit die and restore hit points.
Okay, so then I would have used my 2 spells, and I would get back my, what do you call that thing? Channel Divinity Guided Strike that I used. One of them. I mean, I could go. It doesn't matter to like. I'm fine with going or not going. Either way.
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay, well,
I'm not trying to pressure you guys.
You have to pick yes or no.
I vote that we still
Yes.
go.
Okay, so 1 yes, 1 no. Hannah, yes or no?
It's not really. I don't really find it to be something. I don't know. It doesn't seem central to me. Like, and I didn't really understand what we were getting out of it. So, no.
Okay. Smith? I think you were a no, right?
He started this
Correct.
conversation, I think.
Right. Steve?
Are you muted?
No, he's not.
You could have his mic muted.
You there, Steve?
Steve?
Headset came on.
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
Alright, what did you say? Because it like stripped to my laptop speaker and I couldn't hear shit for a second.
Do you want to skip Moonstone Mask or go?
I'd probably skip it. I mean, last few sessions just been building up to this one meeting now, so that's my only thing.
Alright.
But yeah, I'm happy with skipping it.
I feel like the last few sessions have been building up to this meeting at the Moonstone Mask.
Well, kind of.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I mean, this whole, well, essentially the past 2 months have been building up to this one meeting.
So, you're okay. So you're saying you want to skip the meeting that we've been building up to?
I mean,
I thought we were building up to the council meeting.
Well,
So.
Yeah, he's talking about the council.
We should probably
meeting.
go to it.
Alright. Well, we are skipping the Moonstone and going to the council meeting.
Julio? All right.
Yeah.
So, like I said, if there's anything that you guys would have wanted to do in the period of time.
Magic shop?
like I said, you can definitely shop around. That's not an issue. If you want to do that, probably I'm not gonna lie, the council meeting is probably going to be the remainder of this session, so there probably is not going to be like the necessity of magic items for the most part. Just
I was
because
just meant preparing for the mage.
Oh yeah, like I said, you have like an entire, because the meeting doesn't take place until like the early evening of the next day. So
Are we planning on going after the mage at some point? Like, are we doing this after the council meeting, or?
My impression was after the council meeting we would go eat.
Oh yeah, after the council meeting for sure.
But I think, right, you're just suggesting you'd kind of say what we bought after.
Yeah,
because
out of game. If there's anything that you would have wanted to have done in between, like when you guys got back to Neverwinter at like 3-4 o'clock, or like 3:30, 4 o'clock, and then the next, through that evening, and then the next morning, if there's anything you want to do, if there's anything you would want to buy, let me know. Not an issue at all.
I like that.
No, the only thing I keep track of is making sure we have enough healing potions. And like I said, Iluna would talk to Dabra about her potions, but whatever that would have resulted. Did Septis get the horse out of the bag yet and put an armor on it? Is he allowed to walk around the Neverwinter with it yet?
I mean, it still is probably a bit of an attention grabber.
Oh yeah, did you get your armor?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
you did.
Alright, well, yeah, I mean...
Alright, to the meeting.
I turn the bag over and say skeletal horse. Does it, like, build up like a Lego?
I don't know if we're gonna show up to the meeting with a flaming horse.
Yeah, I'll go to the shop to see if there's any, like, health potions or anything.
Okay.
To see what I can,
that's probably like the one
what I
thing
can
wanna
buy
grab
for
as
the
well.
group.
Does the magic shop have any different items?
I'll have to pull up the page.
I thought we were doing that out of game.
Yeah. We'll handle the magic items out of game.
Oh, like later?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're gonna be.
We're not gonna have any time. It's already 7.
Let me see here. Okay. Sorry, I know it's taking me a hot minute. Just having to pull up. I'm having to pull up all my notes because I was not expecting the council meeting tonight.
Sorry.
It's all good.
I'm surprised anyone else brought up the notion of skipping it because I considered it myself, but I wasn't actually going to suggest it.
Is it this?
Smith is just ready to go for the mage.
Well, we don't have time. Yeah, we don't really have time. And then it's just a time, like, we got to get this council meeting and then go. Miska's chop liver. Not interested.
That's what I thought. everything I need. Okay. Oh, where is this? All right. So, you guys spend a day. So, going about your own business. And the next day comes. And Nylor, at one point, you're sort of hanging out at oh shoot, what is it called? Morden's Hammer. Or no, not Morden's Hammer. Morden's yeah, I think the Temple of Morden, Morden's Hall. That's what it was. The inn tavern that you guys are staying at. And at one point you see through your window a small flick of light as a tiny little dragon flitters into the room and lands on the bed in front of you. Its scales are silver in color. And as it sort of like plops down, it looks up at you. Do you do or say anything to it?
You said it's a dragon whelp?
Yeah, it's like it's like, about the size of a bird almost.
Well, as somebody who cannot speak Draconic, is there anyone else in the room?
Am
I in like I'm very distracted. Like, am I like in my own room?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll say that, as you're looking at it, like, not exactly sure what to do. That is when you see this thing sort of looks at you, cocks its head. You see a glint of light come from its eye as its tail sort of curls, like its wings curl in, its tail sort of curls up, and then it bounces up into the air, spins a few times, and turns into a scroll that has a silver band that's in the shape of a dragon wrapped around it. When you pick it up, you look at it, and you see that it is your formal invitation from Elia.
Just for me specifically?
No, for you and your group.
Okay. I'm gonna read through it, make sure I fully understand, and make sure there's no like hidden messages in it or anything.
Yeah, no. It is requesting your presence at the council at the council of Neverwinter that evening. We'll say that you get it early in the morning that evening.
Okay. Oh, we did take a long rest? I'm sorry.
Yes, at this point you guys can take a long rest.
Okay. I'll take it downstairs where the rest of the group is and show them. I don't know if they're downstairs, wherever they are.
Yeah, wherever they are. You'll all come back together at some point.
And then I'm gonna make sure that I keep the invitation though, because that thing turns back into a dragon. I want it.
Makes total sense. If that totally realistic thing happens. And so that night, that evening, you all head up to. Just put that up there. Oop. Yeah. You all head over to Castle Never. There's a small crowd gathered around outside. To say small is, diminutive, but there's a fair crowd that has been gathering around outside. And as you get there, you see standing there sort of inconspicuously in the crowd is a silver-haired woman wearing black robes that Nylor you immediately recognize as Elia.
You said there's like a big crowd of people?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like all gathered around in one spot, but there's like a bunch of people like through the area. We'll say there's like, there's like vendors selling wares around, people running about.
Okay, I'm gonna walk up and stand next to her.
Okay. She looks over at you, and she sees the rest of your companions, and she says, I'm glad that you decided to show.
Of course.
I know that I have not been forthright yet about the information that you are going to be thrust upon today. But, as you know, I have my full confidence in you.
Well, you haven't led me wrong in the past, so.
So with that, she begins to lead you guys up towards Castle Never. As she does, you're all following up behind, and eventually you get into the actual castle itself. The grand scape of this building is massive. There are pictures and there's pictures and diagrams all across the walls of old rulers and heroes of the times. You see that there's just gilded areas, gold and red, the colors of Neverember, or of Lord Neverember and Neverwinter itself. And while there are a bunch of guards that seem to be standing at the base of a large set of stairs that leads up to this higher platform in the area, Elia actually guides you guys over to, not gonna say it's, I will say this, it's an unimpressive door. Whereas all the other ones in the area are, kind of have some gold filigree, some, elegant designs. This one almost appears to be as if leading into a storage closet. And when she opens it, you see that it leads to a staircase. She begins to walk down it, this cold, dark room. The only real thing providing any amount of heat would be from Cephas's body himself, as you walk down a sort of winding flight of stairs. And that eventually leads you into what you can only imagine, at least dozens, if not 100 or so feet down underneath the castle itself. You come to this large door, and Elia walks up to it, and she puts her hand on the door, and a little slide opens up. And then the door opens up in front of it, because you can see somebody standing behind the slide. And inside this room, you see a massive table. And there are people positioned at this table, and at the far end, you see Lord Neverember standing there. And as the door opens, a lot of the attention is garnered in your direction. You see there are dwarves, humans, elves. You see a woman that appears to be, that she has horns. You see halflings, gnomes, a whole slew of different figures. but those that are sitting at the table, let me see. Yeah, you see that there are 10 of them, and then Lord Neverember is standing at sort of the front of this table. And when you all walk into the room, Elia looks over at him and nods, and Lord Neverember looks around, and as everyone has their attention on you, like I said, I believe I sent this to you guys already, but these are the faces. These are the faces that you see. And that is in the chat. But I should also... I think I have it saved somewhere in here as well, but I could be mistaken. I am mistaken, unfortunately. And Elia guides all of you around this massive table that these people are all standing around. And again, there's only 10 of them actually sitting at the table. The others are sort of standing behind those that they are representing. So you can see that around this large, broad-shouldered dwarf that has this sort of like split beard. There's a number of dwarves around him, and he seems to be sitting right next to another dwarf that has a symbol of a gauntlet on his armor. Across from them, to the sheer opposite side of the table, you see an elf that is dressed up in some green, really nice clothing, and he seems to be sitting next to a man that is kind of a more rugged look to himself. One second. Let's get this back up. Go. All right. So, as you all get around to the front, Elias stands next to Lord Neverember, and you guys are sort of right there off to the side. There's still some chatter amongst the room, and as you set into position, Lord Neverember nods to Elia and then turns to the entire crowd and, clears his throat a little bit. Your attention, and nothing. People are still chattering with one another. And you see Lord Neverember, he takes his crown and he sort of touches it and then touches right underneath his lip and with a booming voice says, "Attention!" And everyone turns to look at him. And you see one of them, the darker skinned man, who is sitting there not too far from him. He says, all right, enough. Don't have to yell. Can we get this on? And Neverember says, yes, Oldor, we may now begin the meeting. I apologize for having to pull any of you from your duties. As you know, I would not do this unless the situation arose where I needed all of you. And you hear from one of the dwarves, he says, yeah, well, you need us. I ain't want to be working with those damn splints over there. And one of the elves looks over and says, and if you think we're going to be working with one of them, you got another thing coming. I ain't working with some damn rock eater. And Lord Neverember says, gentlemen, please. Lord Braun Anvil, King Melindrock, if you can control your representatives. And you see the gold armored dwarf and the nicer clothed elf with a like little bit of white in his hair. They both turn and they address their men. And Lord Neverember continues. He says, "It was brought to my attention that the dragon attacks have not slowed like we had hoped. I recently sent a group of adventurers far up to the north, near Icewind Dale, to investigate a situation. They had found what we believe would have been a hatchery of some kind. And you hear a voice from the background say, 'For what?' And Lord Neverember says, 'For dragons.' And there's like a little bit of a hush across the room. And Lord Neverember says, 'Unfortunately, the location that was holding it was located in a magically floating keep. And the group that I had sent there to try and investigate it, when they realized the situation as it was, they took efforts to put a tentative end to what would have happened there. Unfortunately, they did not survive the crash, and the hatchery was destroyed in the process.' And as he says this, there is a little bit of you hear like a sigh of relief, but you can almost hear a kind of disappointment from a few. And you hear some murmuring as he says this. Somebody saying, 'Well, damn, it would have been nice to have dragons of our own. If we could have hatched them and raised them, we could have used them against them.' You hear another voice say, 'Or we could have sold them. We could have sold them to buy some mercenaries.' And Lord Neverember continues. He says, 'Yes, I understand. I understand the want and desire of being able to use the eggs as we had saw fit. But those that I had sent up there had made the decision at the time as they saw necessary.' Voice from the back says, 'They should have told us. Sent for reinforcements. We could have secured it.' He says, 'I understand. It was unrealistic in their time. Be that as it may, where we stand now is, with the hatchery destroyed, the cult is going to be moving quicker. We are in a situation where we have to address the ones that are still present.' And he turns to Elia and says, 'My friend here, she has brought a group that she believes is capable of achieving what needs done, if given the proper resources.' And he sort of gestures to Elia, and Elia looks over at all of you, and she steps forward, and she says, 'Yes, my name is Elia, also known as and I, for the love of me, still can never pronounce this name.
Aurelia
Otara,
Canto?
Otaria Lacarnos. Gonna say it once. I'll throw it in. Oh, yeah, there we go. I'll throw it in P5 chat for those that are curious, because I know that I've said it once or twice before. Come on, there we go.
Otarelia Carnos.
Otarelia Carnos. Thank you. She says, also known as Otarelia Carnos, I have seen the destruction of the dragons for many years. And I have seen what this cult is capable of. And I have seen the visions of what is to come. And it is our responsibility to put an end to them, to the cult of Tiamat. As you all know, dragon attacks along the Sword Coast and even further inland have become all too commonplace. These brave adventurers, they had come together in a desire to put an end to a dragon. And I believe that it is through their intervention that this calamity will be brought to an end. And she gestures to all of you who are standing there, and you get a few murmurs from the crowd. You hear some of the dwarves say, oh, of course they're going to have 2 elves in the group. And you hear from some of the... You hear the gnomes, a few of them say, it's a warforged. I wonder if it came from across the way. Would love to find out how he works. One of them takes immediate notice of you, Zash, and that is a darker-haired woman with sort of pointed ears, and she seems to just be taking a little bit more care looking over you. And someone else is also paying attention to someone else. Iluna, the gentleman who was referenced, who was addressed by Lord Neverember as King Melendrock, seems to be raising a quizzical eye in your direction. And
I was gonna say that she was standing there with her pendant. She's too, I don't know, nervous and awestruck. It's a comfort thing. But also, would it have been a problem that Anime would have been out, or should she have been?
I would say if you wanted to have her out,
For
she was
this
maybe
meeting.
If you wanted to have her out, she was
Sitting on
maybe
her
like
shoulder.
she was maybe sitting on your shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah, like from the perspective of going to this meeting, it feels like Anime's part of the team. She definitely contributed to
Sure.
things. So Iluna would have wanted her there unless it was frowned upon.
No, yeah, I mean that's it. I mean she can be sitting on your shoulder. I mean
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Her like pendant may be visible to other people, but she's unconcerned. It's
okay.
Comfort thing.
And Lord Neverember steps forward and he says, allow me to introduce you to everyone. and he sort of goes around the table. He says, and I know I'm gonna go off order from what's on the picture that I posted, but sitting right next to him, you see this beautiful woman with silvery hair. He says, "This is Lariel Silverhand. She is the Open Lord of Waterdeep." And then he gestures to the man who had already spoken up to him. He says, "My friend over here, he says, my impatient friend over here is Alder Ravengard. He is the Marshal of the Flaming Fist of Baldur's Gate, and a member of its Council of Four. To his right, Terran Hornblade. He's an ambassador of Luaru, and a High Mage of Silvery Moon. I've already addressed King Melindrock. He is the King of Elves of the High Forest, and he is the King of the Elves of the Misty Forest, and Ambassador of the Elves of the High Forest. If you want, Stacy, I'll just send you the text.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was it that was eyeballing me?
I will get to that one.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But I forgot to add that I think after a whole entire day had passed that Iluna would be green. I don't think that matters too much for this.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, we'll address it whenever we have a map again. He said, and then across the table, he says, across from him is Conrad Braunanvil, ambassador for Mithril Hall, the Citadel Abdbar, and Citadel Felbar, and former king of Mithril Hall. And Conrad looks over at all of you, and you can see that he's sort of looking at Zash and Iluna, and he goes, I remember these two. I saw them down in the small town of Phandalin, rebuilding one of the temples down there. I had sent a few of my son-in-laws to assist them.
Ah, yes. They're good people.
Of course, they're dwarves. And there's a hearty chuckle amongst the dwarves and a melancholic groan from the elves.
As a member of the Innsmouth family, I must agree.
Iluna
Can you repeat that,
make a
Zash?
knowing nod.
Yeah, what'd you say, Zash?
What? Oh, I said, as a member of the Innsmouth family, I tend to agree.
Oh, yeah. And then sitting next to him, you see this man that is wearing a purple cape with with like gold trimmed armor. He says, "This to his right, Sir Estevel, ambassador of Cormyr and representative for Daggerford. Representative for Daggerford. There's 2 4s were killing me. And to his, and then he sort of like pauses, and he says, those who I've just mentioned make up the leaders of the Lord's Alliance. We are the representatives and ambassadors of the major cities and settlements across the Sword Coast. But that is not to say that without our comrades," and he sort of gestures to those that remain next to him, "that we are above them. Anthar Froom, ambassador for Eltagard, and representative of the Order of the Gauntlet." And you see the dwarf that is kind of very similar to Conrad Braunanvil. He stands up and puts his gauntlet to his chest, which you can see is far more like shinier and important than the rest of his armor. To his right, Ramalia Haventree, a wonderful addition to this order and representative of the Harpers. And that is the one who was eyeing you up, Zash.
Okay.
And then to her right, you see the man who is more wild, who is, more rugged. He says, and Dalen Winterhound, representative of the Emerald Enclave. And finally, and you hear this woman sort of speak up. She says, last but not least. And Lord Neverember nods. He says, yes. Rhea Nightshade, representative of the Zentarum. And when he says that, there's a bit of a whisper across the room. And you see that she sort of looks across everyone, and she says, keep it to yourself. Before everyone quiets up. And
have I ever heard of them?
Heard of who?
The group that she represents?
The Zentarum?
Yeah.
If you want to roll a history check, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, I
do.
wondering.
And any of us do that?
Yeah.
I rolled a 19.
Oh, man, my history's so bad. Oh, I got 20.
Nice.
I know everything. I read that in the library when I was bored in between books. Why? Why would I know anything?
All right. Those of you that rolled a 20 or above, which I believe is just Iluna.
You're all supposed to roll. I'm sorry.
You don't have to. You don't have to if you don't want to. Yeah, this was just to see if you knew about this organization. It's a history roll if you wanted to check.
Sure, I have some history knowledge. Never mind.
Not enough.
No,
So
not that.
the thing that you know about it is that you know kind of the little that is known. It's an organization that has existed for a long time, mostly consisting of mercenaries, rogues, and crafty mages that seek to expand their influence and power throughout Faerun. The biggest thing about them that you remember is that one of their mottos is that if you play by the rules, nothing gets done. So, ultimately, they seek to make the rules. So, there is definitely an...
Oddly, I was gonna say Iluna would be... that one would catch her attention, and now it definitely makes sense.
Yeah,
So
because the way that everyone
might
sort of
notice
whispered...
her.
The way that when everybody sort of whispered, it was, kind of in this knowing disgruntlement almost, that somebody from the Zentarum is even there. And so, yeah, with that, you're basically standing around as they're all looking at you. And Lord Neverember turns and addresses all of you. And he says, we seek your aid. And in putting an end to what has befallen this world. As Elia has informed me, through one reason or another, you have all been affected by one of the dragons. We are in need of those that are willing to go after him, to put an end to the cult, and to stop the dragons before the cult is able to seek their final goal, that of the rising of their goddess. The reason I have brought everyone together is because I know that some of us, and he sort of looks across the room, have different wants and desires. It is to our benefits that we assist those that are willing to take on these tasks. But I know that it will require us to work together to get everything done. And as he says this, you hear from the elves, they say, what's his name? Fuck. Dalen. Yeah, where to go?
Your what?
Dalen. Dalen Winterhound. He's the representative of the Emerald Enclave. Shit, where the fuck did it go? God damn it. I hate the setup for this campaign because it's a bunch of like little bits and pieces here and there. Yes. So you see the dwarves. They stand up and they say, "But the first one we have to deal with is going to be that damn white dragon down in the Star Hill Mountains. Fucking thing's running us out of the mountains down there. It already costs us lives." And then you hear Dalen speak up, and he says, "Oh shit, where the fuck did my map go? Damn it. I gotta look at something real fast. Hold on." Sorry about that. I had to look at a map. And it's on my wall. There it is. That's what I wanted to see. Yeah. You see Dalen stands up and he says, "Honestly, our first goal should be to try and wipe out the green dragon that's down in the Cryptogarden. It is being led by one who calls himself Neravane." And when he says this, you see King Melendrox stands up and he says, "I am not worried about whatever is going on down there. That dragon has moved from the Misty Forest. If it is in the Cryptogarden, it is well out of range that I have to deal with. I am not going to send my men down there to kill it if I do not have to." And you see Dalen stands up and he says, "You won't do it because he's your son. And I do not care of your family ties, Melendrock." And the king sort of like standing there. And he says, "There is no proof that is my son. If you wish to handle the white worm that is attacking the hills, then that is your responsibility. The one that needs dealt with is the one that is plaguing the high forest where the archdruids are located. The black dragon." And there's this, like, pitter-patter across here. And then the representative of the Order of the Gauntlet, he stands up and says, "You're all ridiculous. It is clearly the red dragon that is the most profound danger. It is the one that has been flying closest to the cities along the Sword Coast. I have last seen it roost near the mount
If we are to attack there, we should be able to take it. So, with this, there's a little bit of an uproarious clamor amongst all of them. The main things that you are able to take from this is that there is the white dragon in the Star Hill Mountains. There is a green dragon in the Crypt Garden Forest. A black dragon that was seen in the High Forest. And a red dragon that was seen at Mount Hotenow. Nobody mentions anything about a blue dragon.
Is that the one that we interacted with?
It's Cryovane.
I thought
No,
Cryovane
he's
was
a white dragon.
Oh.
By the way, Star Hill Mountains are the mountains that are right next to Phandalin. So the white dragon is Cryovane.
Oh, okay.
Have we encountered a blue dragon?
No, blue dragons are lightning.
Oh, cool. I want to be a lightning dragon. That's
did-
where I want to be when I grow up.
Did someone say King, oh my goodness,
Melindrock?
is the father of the green dragon?
No.
Okay,
The leader
misunderstood that.
he is so Dalen Winterhound has made the claim that the leader of the Green Dragon cult is the son of King
okay.
Melindrock.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, that's the note I need to take down then.
Can you go back to like the world map, Lucas, so we can see where all these places are in terms
sure.
of?
Yeah, let me bring
I was trying
up.
to follow along on my own.
That's a good call. As a DM, I should have prepared for that. Actually, wait, this one? Yeah. This one just doesn't have the one. But I thought I had. I'll have to pull that up on the internet and show you guys on there. I'll have to pull it up on the chat. So here is the map that you guys have. Okay. So I'm sorry, I said Star Hill Mountains. I was actually thinking of Star Metal Hills, but it's actually the Sword Mountains. So that is my fuck up. But the idea here is that the white dragon is somewhere in the Sword Mountains. The green dragon is somewhere in the Crypt Garden Forest. And the red dragon is somewhere near Mount Hotenow. And the High Forest is actually quite a ways away. I will try and bring up as best a map as I can to represent it. Go. Yes, there we go. I will put that in there. You guys are obviously in Neverwinter. You know, the Sword Mountains is where Phandalin is. The High Forest is like days to the east.
We're basically deciding which dragon we want to go after.
That's kind of the idea here, is that that like mechanically. Now I'm obvious, like
obviously the whole Rise of Tiamat is structured completely different than the way that I'm running it. Basically, there's like, if I was actually running the Rise of Tiamat, the White Dragon is up in the Sea of Moving Ice, which is in Icewind Dale. The Green Dragon is in the Misty Forest, which is like really far to the south. So I'm sort of truncating everything into like around Neverwinter. But yes, these are at least the options you guys have at the moment. Of what you would like to go and attend to in an order that you guys pick. So the thing to understand about this, and sort of where your alliances are going to, like the way that this is going to work is the Red Dragon is, so the Order of the Gauntlet is the ones that want the Red Dragon dealt with first. Also, kind of Lord Neverember, mostly because it's like literally in his backyard.
Right.
The White Dragon is the dwarves. So while Ontharr Froom is a dwarf himself and represented the Gauntlet, Conrad Braun Anvil is actually more driven to handle that, mostly because there are more dwarves in that area than there are in the other locations. Dalen Winterhound and the Emerald Enclave is basically wanting you guys to go after the one in the Cryptogarden Forest, and also the halflings that are there, which they don't have like a representative, but they're sort of the ones. They're like, basically the Emerald Enclave is a group of rangers. So those who like are druidic rangers, stuff like that, they're the ones that want you to go there. And then obviously King Melindrock is the Black Dragon out at the High Forest. So but that so that is also to keep in mind that you guys have access to Terran Hornblade, who is a mage of Silvery Moon. You have Oldar Ravengard, who is a marshal of the Flaming Fist of Baldur's Gate, which is actually their it's like their guard, like they are the guardians of Baldur's Gate. And then you obviously have Remelier Haventree, who's representative of the Harpers, and Rianne Nightshade, a member of the Zentrum, more for general, like, you might be able to work with them and gain access, like, the mage might be able to give you information and abilities, or, like, access to, spells and stuff like that, or resources. Same with Aldor. He might be able to get you more mercenaries. Ramalia might be able to get you more information, and Rianne might be able to get you kind of a like a little bit of each. But like she might have wants and desires of her own.
Okay, I have two questions.
Yes.
One, the purple dot on the map, is that where the mage is?
No.
I don't remember what that purple dot is.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure
What purple dot?
that was the tower where What's-His-Face was telling us. Because
I don't
That's
see
where the
anything
mage
purple.
The red dot is where I don't know what that purple one is. I might have I don't know.
I thought that was
I don't know. Oh, wait.
Colors.
Yeah, the red one is where I intended to. Yeah, because the idea was that it was like right on the outskirts of the forest, and it's like the town that was referenced it used to be called Split Garden, and it is now called Raised Garden. But it's basically like a town. It's like, circular in design. It has a tower in the middle, and it was kind of right on the edge of the forest. So there was like a lot of rangers and druids there that would explore the forest. And then when the mountain erupted and everything went to shit, the whole place was pretty much left in ruin. And then from what at least you guys might be able to assume from Kane, Almo basically was like, bunch of dead bodies and a place that nobody wants to visit. I'll set up shop.
Can I like kind of lower my voice to the point where no one, but obviously the party and Elliot will be able to hear, and ask Elliot where she thinks our attention is needed most?
Ooh, that's a good call.
It's a very Nihilor thing, I feel like.
Yeah.
I
I think that makes sense. Oh, sorry.
No. Please say what you were gonna say.
I mean, the red dragon is right here. Wouldn't that make the most sense?
But also keep in mind that aren't we supposed to be finding a place of like really something cold to destroy the black dragon egg that we have?
Yes.
We are doing many things at once right now.
There is a lot of moving parts.
Luna would have brought up in the same hush thing. She wants rid of this egg. Like, what are we doing with this?
It is in a pocket dimension right now, so.
And Elia does know about that, so she'll take that into consideration. Asking what she thinks is our best course of action.
Ooh, a little out of game. Isn't it a blue dragon? Or it's not a blue dragon. That any dragon can destroy the egg. Never mind. It's lightning that could possibly destroy it without a dragon. Right? The black egg.
Yeah, lightning. The element of lightning, high-powered lightning, could destroy a black dragon egg.
Well, I thought it was.
I guess Luna was hoping she that the council would advise.
Well, we haven't really asked anything yet.
I don't think they know that we have this.
I thought like any dragon could like physically destroy any other dragon.
That's the thing. Yeah. High-powered lightning, like high energy lightning, could fry that egg. But any dragon could destroy it because a dragon can destroy a dragon.
Right.
I'm gonna go change Lucas. I'll be right back.
I had an out of game sort of question during the time, like our over a day that we were doing our own thing. Would Smith have mentioned anything about the Stalwart Six? Because that kind of he vaguely mentioned it to Albina. Yeah, and he said that if Albina asked more, that he might have said more, but would.
Isn't that?
But I would have kept that
question?
I was gonna say. I mean,
that's more of a Smith question than a Lucas question.
Yeah,
that's who I was asking. Would Smith have told us anything during that whole day that we would have? We must have spent some time together.
What were you asking? Sorry.
Would you have divulged any information about this, about your recollection of the Stalwart Six to the rest of the group?
Probably not. Probably Albina.
Yeah, I would have not told anyone because that's something between us two.
I only ask because one of them, like, as a player, I know one of them's in this meeting, right? Never Ember.
Yep, Lord Never Ember.
So I was just, would we care to recognize, well, not exactly recognize him, but take notice of him more than typical, but no, if Smith didn't tell us anything.
Yep, nope. Lord Neverember, much like Sergeant Knox, not really paying any more attention to him than anyone else.
Do they bring back any flashbacks?
Well,
I will say that the only thing that you felt was a familiarity when he touched his crown and then touched his lips and cast thaumaturgy. That seemed really familiar to you.
I also was kind of wondering if in that like 24 hours if Smith would have gone to visit Knox, because that wasn't brought, like, he doesn't have to tell us, but
Yeah,
that
like I said,
might be
that's all
we'd
something
have-
that's all something that Smith and I can discuss out of game.
Did Elliot answer me? Sorry, I just got back.
Oh,
She will
Let me know next session.
no, she is going to I don't want to like influence your decisions so much.
Well, just FYI, whatever she says, that's what Nyla wants to do.
Yeah. I will say that she says that at this moment in time, while she sees greatness in in the stars for you, she feels that trying to take on the other dragons might be too much, and that you might want to focus on the one that you have already been pursuing.
Okay. So the blue one.
The white one.
The white one. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Okay, so that's my vote. So it's back to Phandalin we go? Oh no, like mage first, I would assume. Mage first, then back to Phandalin?
Mage is definitely the next thing we do.
Yeah.
So like we're in a conference room right now with all these people, right?
Yeah, you're basically in like an underground war room.
Okay. I'm gonna step up and kind of clear my throat, introduce myself. Hello, everybody. My name is Zash Keen. Very important. You guys don't know me yet. Anyways,
you see Ramalia gets a bit of a smirk on her face.
Have you guys heard about these dragon cultists spreading these eggs around?
You hear some murmurs, and Lord Neverember says, "The only eggs that we were informed of were the ones at the hatchery at Skyreach Castle. Fortunately, or he says, little unfortunately, the entire thing was destroyed. I am unaware if any were able to be salvaged from it."
Well, what are the contingency plans, if any were? I mean, are you guys even that far along yet?
You hear most of them in the room sort of muttering like, the lesser the better. The fewer dragons we have to deal with later on is an advantage. You see that Dagalt sort of looks at you, Lord Neverember, and he says, "I would have liked to have sold them and made some gold to hire some more mercenaries." Dalen Winterhound, he stands up and he says, "They shouldn't have been destroyed in the first place. I get that they're destructive, but they're part of the natural order of things. Killing their young simply upsets that balance." And Terran Hornblade and Lady Silverhand, the representatives of the representatives of Silvery Moon and Waterdeep, they both seem like they're in agreement, where they both say, "It would have been nice to be able to use them as ransom,
but understand how dangerous it is to hold on to them.
Ransom for what? I feel like we are talking about two different things here. You guys are talking about selling the eggs to profit of one of the most evil, dangerous creatures that walks this planet. And other people are talking about using it as blackmail.
You hear one of the when you say that.
Am I misunderstanding the gravity of the situation at hand, or
a bit of a sly comment right as you say that though? You hear one of the dwarves says, "I didn't realize they were hatching elves from eggs now." When you say about hatching or selling the eggs of the most dangerous creatures.
Oh my goodness.
And
I was gonna say, Iluna is trying to not give away that she knows there's a freaking egg. She had no idea Zash would be like, "Hey guys, I'm just asking some weird ass not related questions." So anybody with decent perception would probably see her going, "Oh, I don't know what the hell he's asking questions for. We have nothing."
You see Daggalt
she already wanders around like with her emotions changing
on clear display, yeah. You see Daggalt, he says, "I know it would have been rough to try and manage it, but finding responsible buyers, using the gold to hire more mercenaries. I mean, we can bring in ships of them from around the area, send out small armies and factions. I mean, is it? Is it dangerous? I get that, but I would rather, I don't know, I'd rather vet our buyers than trying to hand one back to a dragon." And he's kind of gesturing to the mage, to Hornblade and Silverhand, or trying to ransom it back, to the dragons to help us. I mean, those things can kill us in one go if they want. I mean, a researcher might want the egg for something. I don't know, somebody that would have paid, top gold.
With all due respect, that just sounds so unbelievably irresponsible.
You see, you see that that King Melindrock, he's nodding his head. He's like, "It absolutely is. The things should just be destroyed. They should be all eradicated." Dellen stands up and he says, "They can't just all be destroyed. If you destroy every predator in the world, what are you talking about? That just disrupts the balance."
I'm not talking about, genocide or killing every single dragon, but I don't think it's unnatural for somebody to defend their home. If these creatures are encroaching upon their home, the same way that would happen to you or I if we encroached upon theirs, you're going to be attacked.
And he looks at you and he says, "And what do you think us humans have done for ages? Pushing our way into nature, taking it over. We don't live beside it. We rule over it. We've been taking from these creatures their entire lives.
And they've been taking from us their entire lives.
Let's not be naive
about this.
And that's the balance.
Exactly. So the balance is dealing with the eggs that we find.
That's
the balance. The way that they kill our children when they decide to go on a rampage and take out an entire town.
And they don't do it for no reason.
I digress and disagree.
You are naive. You do not know the ways of the natural world. And he sort of like, he whenever you had stood up, he sort of looks at you and he says, "Yeah, I imagine you're some city boy."
Hold on,
I'm gonna go up and stab him throat.
No, I have to find names real quick.
Okay.
Names.
Yeah.
And
I'm trying
so
to find the names of the goblins because I only
Oh.
remember Lucas.
Oh, I have them here.
What?
Oh wait, actually no.
You
The
mean
goblin. The names of the goblins were just
name
were
them after us?
yeah.
Was it
It was
us?
James, Michelle,
Yeah, so we-
Stacy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I'll look
Yeah.
at him and I'll say, well, I guess I'll take you to the graves of James, Stacy, Michelle, Tony, and JJ, who were simply making a trip from one side of the mountain to the other. And you can go tell them about the natural order of life.
I
And maybe
assume.
you can go defend the actions of the dragons to them when all they were trying to do was get from point A to point B.
And I am
Is
under the.
Iggy with us?
Yeah, Iggy is with you guys.
I'm not going to tell them that they were goblins. They don't
Yeah.
need to know that.
And he looks at you and he says,
All right, guys, I gotta go.
All right,
yeah,
man.
Jay will
Yeah.
fill me in on the rest. All right, bye, guys.
Yeah.
He looks at you and he says, "If they have fallen to the dragons, I mourn for your loss, but that is part of the balance. To simply destroy the dragon's young when there is still hope to let them live.
When they come knocking on your door, don't reach out."
And he like when you say that, he like stands up and like smashes his hands onto the table, and he says, "What do you think I have been doing? They have been on my doorstep. I have been fighting beside my brother, dying at the hands of the cult. At this man's son." And he, when he points to King Melendrock, he says, "He's leading an army of them. They plan. I understand the want and desire to rid this world of dragons, but I am saying we do not need to slaughter the young of them. We need to deal with the ones that we have now. The dragons are a part of nature. We need to deal with the cult. The cult is the reason the dragons are on the move. It is through their intervention, their desire to raise their goddess, that we find ourselves in this situation."
So explain to me the actions of Cryovane.
Sure.
The dragon with no cult following, who is just roaming about the Phandalin area, killing anybody and anything that it sees.
And he sort of sighs, and he says, "Verum the White. This was something that we have already been in the know of. He was the white cult leader. When Skyreach fell, the heroes," and he sort of spits at the word, "when they dropped Skyreach into the sea of moving ice, they brought down with it the lair of the white dragon that Verum had been, I don't want to say working with, had been influencing. The events of that led to the movement of another, a younger, more chaotic one. I am aware of the events of the White Dragon. My forest that I call home is but a short jaunt over the mountains that it has staken claim in. You think I am ignorant to the befallings of the Star Hills, or the Star Meadow Hills? We must deal with the cult of the White Dragon when they arrive. Or we need to send the White Dragon back."
I don't think you're ignorant to what's going on. I just think you're naive is all.
He sort of
Who,
just
who was
shakes his
speaking?
head.
I forgot his name.
Who?
Who was speaking? Who's that?
Winterhound.
Dellen.
Speaking.
Yeah, Dellen Winterhound, the representative of
Bottom
the
left
Emerald
corner.
Enclave.
Okay.
Yep, bottom left.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't know. Guess that's
Yeah.
all I have for now.
When you say that, King Melendrock, he stands up and he walks over to you, Zash, and he reaches out his hand to shake yours. And he says, I am glad to find somebody that sees it the way that I do.
Well, that's gonna be awkward because I was gonna say it should have been obvious that Iluna was nodding her head with the balance dude. I'm fight them off.
I still have not.
She's
I
like,
don't
every time he says the word like the balance, Iluna's pretty obvious.
What were you saying?
I never was advocating for the total destruction and murder of everything. All I was saying is what's the plan? How are we going to do this, you know? I was never advocating for, straight up genocide of all of these dragons. What I'm advocating for is a freaking plan.
I think
and this dude comes out of left field.
But I think King Melendrock sees you as like on the side of destroy them all. Oh. He said literally they should be eradicated. So he just shook your hand.
I never shook his hand.
Well,
I didn't get to RP that.
He tried to shake your hand with that.
I'm gonna look at King Melendrock and say, I mean no offense by this, but I don't think we are on the same side. I'm not advocating for the total destruction of these creatures. What I'm advocating for is a sound, concrete plan and not, selling dragon eggs for money or trying to blackmail and piss off a dragon any more so than it already is. I think we need to sit down and figure something out.
And he sort of nods and, looks at the rest of the group and he says, exactly. We don't need to exactly. We don't need to ransom them. God damn, I'm doing a different voice, but this is the one I'm going to stick with. We don't need to ransom them. We don't need to, try and sell them to somebody that's going to turn them against the rest of the world. We don't need to just let them run free. I understand that dealing with the cult is an important matter, but if we kill the dragons, then what do the cultists have to go after? They will be scrambling. They will not have they will not have the things that it is they want if we keep them out of reach. The resources that they want and the powers of the dragons that they are trying to build up.
I can tell you from personal experience that these cultists are not of sound mind. They cannot be reasoned with, I think my companion here, Iluna, can vouch that I was nearly blown apart by one of these freaks. They are definitely a problem.
Cults will find another fanatic about.
I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
I said cults would find another thing to be fanatic about.
They will. I mean, these are unhinged individuals who will latch on to whatever powerful idea that they think will support them.
Well, also, in addition to you nearly getting blown up, they attacked Phandalin because they thought someone passed through. That was it.
I was talking about the red dragon
Yeah.
cultists.
Yeah, these were the
So
black
we've run
dragon
into
cultists.
two, yeah.
I mean, you guys have run into
Another example.
two of the cult groups, the red ones and the black ones. You haven't run into any of the others.
Right.
Oh, I sort of had an out of game question. You said King Melandrock made note of Iluna. Did she notice him noticing her?
Yeah.
That's weird.
He was sort of he's like while everyone was sort of walking around the room and everyone was muttering to one another, you noticed that his eyes were sort of like his attention was more towards you, that he was, raised eyebrows sort of looking at you.
In like a shocked way?
Yeah.
I'll say that it was of mild curiosity.
Because he came over and said something to Zash and like was standing right there.
Yep.
This is not like an open mingle, get to know each other thing just yet. Everyone's still mostly at the
well, actually,
table.
that's sort of what I was getting to. While you guys were having that discussion, because with sort of the dialogue going back between Winterhound, Zash, all the others in the room, like sort of having their own. Dagal, casts thaumaturgy on himself, and he gathers everyone's attention. He says, "Gentlemen, please. We do not need to have such heated discussion. Why not we take 5 minutes? Take a breath. We will reconvene in a few moments, once you have had a moment to clear your minds and cool off, and we can figure out the best course of action. I understand we have different wants and desires, and I understand there will be some of us that are disappointed in the end, but we find ourselves in a dangerous time, and we need to think about this with the best intentions of the world, and we cannot do that when we are simply fighting one another. Otherwise, why would I have asked all of you to come together?" And you hear some muttering across the room. So at this point, if anybody wants to, you guys have a moment to sort of mingle. If anybody wants to talk to anyone, let me know.
That's what I was getting at.
I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick.
Yep.
Yeah. Iluna would. I don't know. I hate saying tentatively, but she's all caught up in all of this. She didn't. But she would still, while she has a chance. I mean, this council meeting's full of important people, and she may not get the time to speak to any of them. Maybe never again. So she would like to talk to the one who keeps trying to catch her eye if he's been glancing at her, King
Melandrock. Okay.
But I have no idea how she would approach him because she's still all like, life has been a flippin' whirlwind, and I'm here at this council meeting, and take advantage of these people. But she would, I don't know, collect herself and catch his eye and walk up to him and say, "You seem, I don't know, to I caught you glancing my way. Is there something you want to talk about?"
And he, sort of raises an eye. He looks at you, and he says, there we go. That's what I was saying. Where the fuck is the picture that I'm looking for? Shit, I don't know where it went. Anyway, he sort of looks at you. He turns around. He's talking to a few other elves. He turns around and he says, "Oh, well, yes. I mean, I apologize that my eyes might have been wandering. It was not my intention to, give you any discomfort. Just not every day that one happens to see a fellow Eladrin around."
Oh, yes. My heritage.
I can
That comes
see
from
that.
my father's side. I don't associate with him. I don't know of him. What?
He says, and your mother?
Did you say something?
Yes, I said, and your mother,
Well,
in a
the
quizzical way.
only thing yes, her. Well, Luna's hair is supposed to be light blue all the time, just streaked with the colors that match her skin, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she is moon elf. I get my eye color and hair color from her. We were a nomadic tribe. Why is she of interest to you?
When you say that, when you say, oh, she was a moon elf,
Oh, I forgot to say, he probably would have saw her like stuffing the pendant back under her shirt, stopped fiddling with it and
yeah,
put it away.
yeah.
Yeah.
When you say that, he, when you say like, oh, she was a moon elf, like, I have her, eyes and hair, she's from a nomadic tribe. His eyes sort of go wide, and he looks at you with a very confused look, and he says, "What was it? You just stowed away that pendant?"
Mm. It's a family. I was gonna say crest. That's not quite the right word, but we'll go with that. My mother gave it to me. I guess she'd pull it back out since he didn't. He saw it, so and shows it to him. My members of my family have them.
And you see that he goes out to reach for it, like, to just like look at it, and with a bit of a shaking voice, he looks at you and says, "Ah, Corlon's might, you do have her eyes." As he pulls out from his cloak a matching pendant. And that's where we're going to end the session.
I hate
And
you.
Zash is in the background screaming,
it...
Jerry! Jerry!
Oh, Lord.
Does it make sense now, Princess?
No, Prince.
I called it immediately, but I didn't want to say anything.
Well, yes.
I was like, that's her dad.
I said, we want it to be true. Why would he have the pendant? That's the first question, but sure.
He's your family.
Why wouldn't he have the pendant?
Because He was a fling, according to her mother's story.
According to her mother's story.
What? Yeah, that's about it. He shouldn't care to pass on any pendant because he shouldn't know he has a kid. Pretty much.
Maybe your mother lied.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Your mom lied to you, boy.
Stacey, I cannot tell you how long I have been holding on to this little trinket. Nearly from like the third session, when I decided that I was gonna roll this into Rise of Tiamat. And King Melindrock was in there. And you were like, oh yeah, I have a mother and I don't know who my daddy is. And I'm like, I do!
Lucas is like, I got them daddy issues on lock.
Right.
But she didn't, she never cared. Like, her mother raised her. It was
Yeah.
a nomadic tribe.
And
Nobody, you know.
yeah, a nomadic tribe of moon elves traveling through the lands. Possibly at one time, you know, had traveled through the high forest, you know. I mean, Mia, I mean, let's be honest, like Mia's a fucking, you know, a fucking hottie. So I mean, look, everyone, look at the P5 chat. Would King Melindrock not want to get with that?
Oh yeah, he'd part that.
Yeah.
The story I wrote was really literally Mamma Mia, and she had some flings around the same time.
Yep.
Two of them were Eladrin, and that's the story Iluna knows.
And that is why King Melindrock, the king of the wild elves, became your father.
But I still don't know why he would have a pendant. Like,